Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Hello and welcome back to Shenington, for those of you listening on Downforce UK. Not currently on the tannoy at the moment. Obviously, if you've only just joined us, we've had our first race of the day, which was the Honda Cadet, which rather sadly was brought to an end by a little bit of an incident between Sasha Wiley and the Polish driver Maximilian Solarski. We're being told that both of them are in safe hands with the medical teams, so there is nothing to fear. They are both being checked out for safety precautions, so obviously we must allow the safety teams to do their hard work, but we are now getting ourselves ready for the second heat of the day, which is the first race of the weekend for the Junior X30s. That race, incidentally, was won by Theo Makuris in front of Dan Ginchard and Archie Walker, the Honda Cadet race, so we'll be hearing more from them a little bit later on with their next race, which is due to take place a little bit later than scheduled now, obviously, because we were due to have a couple more races, but we have been under suspension now for about I would say a good 25 minutes or so now. So obviously we needed to make sure that the safety teams were doing their job correctly. So that is why we've had the pause in proceedings. But it's now not going to be long before the Junior X30 heads out onto the circuit for their first heat, because I can see Clerk of the Course Ken Potter just addressing the Junior X30 drivers to let them know what happened in that earlier incident and what they have to make sure they don't do in the races themselves to avert a similar fate. So basically the two drivers came together as a result, I believe, of one of them running wide in the chicane and just coming back onto the circuit and collecting another driver at the worst possible angle. So a complete accident, nobody blatantly to blame for that one. Racing incident, and hopefully it will not occur a second time today. But I'm being told that both Wiley and Solarski are being checked out by the medical teams and they are in safe hands. That is all the news I know at the moment, but if I do hear anything and when I hear the all clear, I will of course let you know over the course of the race broadcast. But the drivers are now being sent out onto the circuit, so we'll switch back to the circuit tannoy.
So back into the action once again here at Shenington. Good to see that the clean-up operation was handled very professionally and with great consideration for all of the right protocols. And now the drivers are heading out onto the circuit for the first of the Junior X30 races of today here at Shenington Kart Racing Club. And we've already got a mechanical problem down in the pits. Somebody has not got going, and it's one of the KR Sport drivers. That looks like Clayton Ravenscroft. Clayton Ravenscroft, the pole sitter. Clayton Ravenscroft has not been able to get the kart started. This is an absolute disaster. There are people from various quarters helping out. It's not just the KR Sport team. There are people from Fusion helping as well, and a couple from MLC. They're all trying to get Clayton Ravenscroft started up. This is an absolute disaster for the 75. They're going to be held at bay because there is a good chance that he may be able to get Clayton Ravenscroft started up again. But this is an absolute disaster for the championship leader in Junior X30. With mechanical problems in the pits, it looks as though he'll not get underway in time to take up the front end of the grid. They're desperately trying to get his kart started, but for the moment, Luke Whitehead is going to be on the front row of the grid on his own, with Lewis Gilbert and Alex Lloyd alongside him, Caden McQueen and Tyler Reid next, then Reggie Dewey and Casper Stevenson, Nelson King and Josh Radican, Dragon Pinson and Oliver Gray, Will Ellswood and Oliver Behrman, Matthew Hudson and Jamie Mead, Lewis Thompson and Sam Hawthorne, Tom Edgar and Max Meir, Rufus Hunt and Sam Heading, Alex Lay and Shane White, Alessandro Serenetti and Teddy Pritchard-Williams, from Douglas Bolger, Casper Scusa, Alex Moody and Axel Laflamme. And it looks to me as though Clayton Ravenscroft is going to be out. No, he's not going to be out of this race. He is going to try and take up his position at the back of the grid. He will cut through at the back of the Bruno Ferrari chicane, but I believe the race is going to get underway. Yes, it does. So it's a disaster for Clayton Ravenscroft as the race gets underway and the field charges through Cafe Corner for the first time. There's a bit of jostling through the first corners, but the field is away cleanly. And half a minute behind, Clayton Ravenscroft is going to get underway. Absolute heartbreak for Clayton Ravenscroft. He's got an amazing job to do now, but it looks like it's going to be almost undoable. And there's a spin in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. A couple of karts involved in that one. So that looks to me like this 77 has gone around. I think that is from the distance. So one of them is Shane White, I think. Oh, sorry, Alex Lay has been involved in that. So too, Douglas Bolger held up. Yes, Casper Scusa and Axel Laflamme all caught up. But it's Whitehead who leads the way from Alex Lloyd. Alex Lloyd gift wrapped a golden opportunity here. Up in a second place with the championship leader down in dead last. Well, at least that little issue for Axel Laflamme and the 50 of Casper Scusa now means that Clayton Ravenscroft has a chance to catch up. But unfortunately, the leading rookie in the championship, Alex Lay, has had to park the kart and retire. So Alex Lay for Mick Barrett Racing, sadly, is out of the game. That is a real shame. So as they come off the turn for the second time, the top rookie, Alex Lay, is out of the action. But here come the drivers through the first corner. Luke Whitehead in front of Alex Lloyd and the 22 of Tyler Reid. Then it's Lewis Gilbert in front of Reggie Dewey. Then it is the 42 in there of Caden McQueen. Then it's Nelson King, Casper Stevenson from Radican, Pinson, Behrman, Thompson, Ellswood and Mead. So there's a few drivers making their way forward. Serenetti's up 6 places. Alex Moody is up 5 places now to 24th as a result of all of that melee in the first couple of corners. And there's karts all over the place in the Bruno Ferrari chicane as they're trying to come through. There's a yellow flag as we've had somebody off the road and coming back into position. It looks like we got a broken down kart. Is that Caden McQueen? No, it's Josh Ratican. Josh Ratican is in trouble. What a disaster for Josh Ratican. Yet again, trouble strikes. And it's Ratican who tumbles from the fray. That is such a shame. Ratican is out of luck. And it looks to me like it's game over for Ratican, who has also not come through. Well, Alex Lay, I think, has got going again, albeit down in 29th place. So, yes, my apologies. Alex Lay is still racing. But there's a terrific tussle for second place now as Alex Lloyd is trying to... Actually, that's Lloyd in the lead, isn't it? I think it is. As into the pits comes Josh Ratican. 27, Josh Ratican, sadly out of the race. That is a real shame, but out in front, I think it's Alex Lloyd who leads. It is. Lloyd is in the lead, Reid is in second, and Whitehead's down to third from Gilbert, Dewey, McQueen. Then it is King, and Casper Stevenson leads the rest of the field in tow. Now, as the drivers start to work their way forward, there's going to be a bit of a comeback drive from Clayton Ravenscroft, who's already on the back of the 50 of Casper Scusa. But he's a good 14.5 seconds back from the race lead, so it looks insurmountable, but Lloyd is out in front. Reid in second, battling with Whitehead. Whitehead trying to come back through the hanger corner, and up they come down to the hairpin. He's not going to be able to get through there, so another bit of a job to do as they come back onto the park straight. Over the start-finish line, and Alex Lloyd leads the way as Josh Ratican is currently in the pits having some work done. Maybe he can get back out there. But Tyler Reid in second from Reid and Gilbert. And it looks like Josh Ratican, they are going to get the kart started again. Or at least they're going to try to. He's just underneath my position here in my commentary box, trying to get going once more. Ravenscroft, meanwhile, has caught up to the back of Casper Scusa. And if he gets past him, that'll be good enough for 27th place, as Alex Lay has finally decided to call it a day. Unfortunately, the number 17 out of the race, as up into second has come Whitehead, and that has dropped Reid into the clutches of Lewis Gilbert. So Alex Lloyd leads, Whitehead is in second, Gilbert is trying to move up into third position as they come across the line. It is Lloyd from Whitehead, Reid, Dewey and Gilbert. So Dewey's got into fourth place. So Reggie Dewey is now in P4, charging after the 22 of Tyler Reid as the rest of the field filters its way past. The M-Sport team are currently hard at work to see if they can get Josh Ratican's kart up to scratch again, but it looks as though it's to no avail at the moment, unfortunately. But out in front, it is still Alex Lloyd, who has taken this opportunity with both hands and is now surging away out front, getting back into a winning position once again in the British Championships. There was a rumour that was started initially at Wackersdorf by his own mother that they just wouldn't focus on the British Championship anymore. There just wasn't any point. I don't think that's the case anymore. Lloyd is your leader. Whitehead in second. Dewey is now third in front of Gilbert. Tyler Reid is down to fifth position. And into the pits comes the 51. And that is a disaster for the 51 into the pits. And that, unfortunately, is Sam Hawthorne. And that's the teammate of Josh Radican. So Josh Radican's teammate, Sam Hawthorne, is having difficulties now as well. What a disaster for the M Sport team. This could not be a bigger nightmare of a race. And that's because of a mechanical flag for the 51. I'm not sure what it is that has brought Sam Hawthorne into the pits, but they're looking at the rear of the kart. So clearly something is not right. Alex Lloyd still leads, but is being caught by Whitehead and Dewey. Then in fourth place it is Gilbert. Then it is Reed, King, McQueen, Thompson, Stevenson, Behrman, Ellswood and Dragon Pinson. In front of Alessandro Serenetti, now up to 13th position. Then it's Oliver Gray from Mead, Tom Edgar in 16th. Then it's Hunt, Hudson, Meir, Heading, Pritchard Williams, Alex Moody, Shane White, Axel Flam, Douglas Bolger, then Clayton Ravenscroft and Casper Scusa. So a very dramatic race, the first heat of the weekend for sure, as Alex Lloyd has got a minute and a half to hang on in front of Whitehead, who is ramping up the pressure. Alex Lloyd could really use a victory at this point. And if there's going to be a chance to do it, he'll want to hang on to it big time as Reggie Dewey now goes free. Whitehead on the inside of Lloyd and Reggie Dewey goes with him. Whitehead takes the lead. Reggie Dewey in second place. Lloyd is third from Gilbert and Tyler Reed. Terrific racing in Junior X30 for the first race of the weekend. And a big moment there out of Cafe Corner for Alex Moody, who's now got all sorts of battles from Shane White behind him, who's had a miserable first race of the day, as the 52 of Tom Edgar gets a warning flag for something. I haven't seen him do anything untoward, but clearly the officials have seen something we haven't, as Reggie Dewey is now going for broke for the lead of the race into the hairpin. Luke Whitehead defending beautifully, as up the inside goes Tyler Reed on Lewis Gilbert to move up in a fourth position, I think, as they come across the line with 40 seconds to go. And Gilbert's back on the inside of Reed to take back that fourth position and start charging after Alex Lloyd. So Lloyd is still in third position, tucked up behind Reggie Dewey. An amazing battle in this Junior X30 race, which sadly no longer has the M Sports of Josh Radican or Sam Hawthorne in it. Nor McBarrett Racing's Alex Lay. A warning flag now goes to the 95. That's Nelson King, right up in the echelons of the top six. And that looks to me like Lloyd has got himself back into the lead. I think Lloyd has done both Dewey and Whitehead. I'm not sure where he pulled that off. It must have been towards the hairpin, because somehow now we've got Luke Whitehead down out of the top three even, as Lloyd is now leading. Whitehead's down to fifth. Dewey moves to cover Gilbert. So Lloyd is your leader from Dewey, Gilbert, Reed, Whitehead, McQueen and Nelson King. Lewis Thompson is in the mix too from Casper Stevenson. Then it's Will Ellswood, the leading privateer in 10th. Now Ravenscroft's gone onto the back of Axel Laflamme, so that's another place he can make a move on. Reggie Dewey's trying to commit to the move on Alex Lloyd. He hasn't made it. Oh, brilliant battling, and Whitehead's been held up in all of that. So he's going to drop down to sixth position. Through into fifth has come Caden McQueen, but it's not done for the win yet. Out of the final hairpin. I think Dewey's going to run out of time, but he's going to try and take it to the line. Alex Lloyd gets the victory in a brilliant first race from Reggie Dewey and Lewis Gilbert. Alex Lloyd is back. Brilliant, brilliant race from Alex Lloyd. Oh, the 48 DHR Dan Holland Racing card is big and back at the top. Reggie Dewey in third in the number 3 card. The leading privateer is second from Lewis Gilbert and Tyler Reed. Then it is Caden McQueen in fifth from Luke Whitehead and Nelson King. A sensational battle. What an amazing drive from Alex Lloyd. I don't know how he brought that back on Reggie Dewey and Luke Whitehead at the end of the race there, but what a sensational run. And Alex Lloyd opens his weekend with a victory. I said to him only this morning, don't give up. You never know when it's going to come. Race 1, job done. Absolutely brilliant. And there's more where that came from, I'm sure, as we head into the Mini X30s next.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Straight back into the action here at Super 1, of course, as there is now time to make up following the earlier incident in Honda Cadet. So straight into the action for Mini X30 with Josh McLean and Joshua Rowledge on the front row of the starting grid. This is a weekend of opportunity now for Josh McLean, who could take a race victory from the front here as the pole position sitter. Looks good and looks ready for action with alongside him Josh Rowledge in the Strawberry Racing car. Aaron Walker in a brilliant third ahead of Ivan Lomliev, the joint championship leader with Rowledge. Then the new boy, the Mexican, Ian Aguilera, alongside Jessica Edgar, who won the final at PF International. And then Rashan Chigarimbo, the leading point scorer last time out at Rattler. So there's plenty to talk about as the 7 cars get themselves up to speed. They are now formed up in position. They are ready for the action. Next are going to rise and they're going to go straight up to speed. It's going to be a very close battle on this one with the Mini X30s underway and through the first corner. Josh Rowledge in second position, hanging on in front of Walker. Lomliev still there in fourth position. Chigarimbo's made an early doors move on Ian Aguilera, and so has his teammate Jessica Edgar. So Edgar through to fifth, Chigarimbo through into sixth position with Ian Aguilera still there in seventh place. Really exciting battle in the early stages then, as the drivers knit their way through the Bruno Ferrari chicane for the first time. And the drivers are already getting themselves up to a brilliant speed run. Rowledge on the back of Josh McLean as they go through Hanger Corner. Down to the hairpin once again. Tight in the battle as they go back on the power. Through the left flick onto the Park Straight. And as they come over the line at the end of the first lap, McLean from Rowledge, Walker, Lomliev, Edgar, Chigarimbo and Aguilera. No change at the front end. Jessica Edgar is already starting to look a little bit feisty on the back of Ivan Lomliev as they go through Cafe Corner. And as they disappear out of sight through the S's, notable that the fastest lap of the race came from Josh McLean, but Rowledge is now going quicker. Fastest of all in the first sector, though, for this lap is Jess Edgar. She really seems planted there in fifth position, as she has already made the move into fourth position. She's got Ivan Lomliev. So Jess Edgar up into P4 as they come back onto the Hanger Straight. Down towards Hanger Corner. Rowledge in the lead as well, by the way. I completely missed that. I apologise. Rowledge has made the move and got past Josh McLean for the lead of the race. So McLean is now swarming all over the back of the Strawberry driver as they come down the straight once again. Rowledge in the lead. McLean in second place. He goes very deep through Cafe, but looks okay for the moment. As Jessica Edgar now looks to be dialed in behind Aaron Walker. And I have a feeling she's going to make an effort for the hairpin into Stratford hairpin up the inside. She will have a look if she's got an opportunity. And as they come back up the runway straight into sight once again, we will see if she's there. She is into third position. A good run from Jess Edgar today. Up from sixth on the grid, already straight through into P3. Aaron Walker is still there in P4, I believe. Either that or he has now fallen into the clutches of Ian Aguilera. Who's that in fifth position? I think that is potentially Rashan Chigarimbo actually battling away with Ian Aguilera. So as they come across the line, where is Lomliev? Lomliev's through into fourth place. That's what happened. So Edgar's made the move on Walker, and Lomliev saw a way to get by as well. Walker is in fifth, and it's Aguilera and Chigarimbo. So Ian Aguilera's had an amazing start to his campaign in Mini X30 thus far. A rookie this weekend, don't forget. And the Mexican is already in there having a great battle with Rashan Chigarimbo, and currently he's leading the charge. So Jess Edgar's closing up on the two leaders. Then it's Lomliev. Edgar in third position doing a great job. Walker is trying to shake off Ian Aguilera, with Rashan Chigarimbo really struggling to keep up with the pace they're showing at the moment. They come off the turn once again, out of the hairpin and back on the power, over Park Straight. Over the finish line, Josh Rowledge has got Josh McLean all over the back of him as he looks for a way through on the inside. He's not close enough, but he needs to get on with it because his teammate, Jess Edgar, is reeling them both in. Lomliev in fourth. Walker and Aguilera still battling away for fifth position, and Rashan Chigarimbo keeping a watching brief there in seventh position. The first sector, fastest of all in the first sector, is Jess Edgar again. She is lightning quick around Shenington and looks like she could get her second win of the season here. Up the turn. Down the back straight, and Edgar's looking very strong on the back of Josh McLean. In fact, they're going to work in tandem to close back up on Rowledge. And considering that Edgar is 5th in the point standings, and McLean is 6th in the point standings. This would be the perfect weekend for the Fusion team to go 2 at a time and make the move on Rowledge. One of them's already through, but Rowledge is straight back on the inside of McLean and takes the lead straight back. Edgar's still there in 3rd position. Then it's Lomliev. Aguilera now up to 5th place in front of Walker and Shigarimbo. So Ian Aguilera's having an absolutely amazing transition to Mini X30. The Mexican is doing a terrific job here. So down the runway straight, and McLean is through, and Edgar's through. Both the Fusions have got into 1st and 2nd place there, past Josh Rowledge. So Josh McLean leads the way. Jess Edgar in 2nd. This is a cracking opportunity for these two. Now that they've got past Rowledge, surely they're going to use teamwork and try and get away from Rowledge before he has a chance to get back on the inside. And then those last 2 laps will be a squabble between the two of them. Either that, or they may just decide to sit in formation. A 1-2 would be a very decent position to be in at the end of today, as Lomliev has dropped to 6th position now, just in front of Chigarimbo. Walker's back up to 4th. Aguilera's back up to 5th. So a really good run here, as Lomliev has made a bit of an error somewhere. Aguilera now finds himself in 4th place in front of Aaron Walker once again, as Rowledge has crucially split the Fusions, and it's Jess Edgar who leads the way. Jessica Edgar is now in the lead. For the first time this weekend, we have a woman on the racetrack leading the race, but when Abby Pulling comes out a little bit later on in Junior TKM, we may well see a second. But Jessica Edgar is currently leading for the first time since Lark Hall. Sorry, that's the first time since PF, I should say. Jessica Edgar out in front of Josh Rowledge and looking so strong, so superior at the moment. They come down to the chicane once again out of the hairpin, through into the right-hander, and then back up the runway straight once again as Rowledge made headway back on Jessica Edgar. Well, he's trying to, but it's not working. Jessica Edgar will not budge. So Jess Edgar still leads the way. Josh Rowledge in 2nd position with Josh McLean still in touch. Then it is Ian Aguilera from Aaron Walker. Rashan Chigarimbo now in front of Ivan Lomliev. This is still not bad for Rowledge, because Lomliev is still 5 places back from Rowledge. But Rowledge wants to win. Here he comes. On the back of Jess Edgar. Edgar still leads. Rowledge 2nd. McLean. Then it's Aguilera, Walker, Lomliev and Shigarimbo dicing for 6th position. They go back out of sight once again and up to the hairpin. It's still Jess Edgar who controls the pace of this race. Josh Rowledge is desperately trying to find a way to get past, and still tight on the back of Jess Edgar's car as they go through the Bruno Ferrari chicane, out through the left-hander, back onto the right and down the hanger straight. Is Rowledge going to go for the move? No, he's going to use Jess Edgar to push away from Josh McLean through the hanger corner and staying there into the hairpin. Back onto the main straight once again. And still, Josh Rowledge glued to the bumper of Jess Edgar with 1 minute and 15 left as they come across the line. And it's Edgar versus Rowledge for the victory. 3rd is the 76 of Josh McLean. Then it's Walker, Aguilera, Lomliev and Chigarimbo. This is not good for Ivan Lomliev. He really wanted to be at the same sort of pace as Josh Rowledge. They are dead heat in the points for the championship at the moment, but it looks as though things are set to change as again Josh Rowledge just running around behind Jess Edgar, but crucially McLean is gaining ground on both of them as Lomliev defends beautifully to Chigarimbo round the outside of the Bruno Ferrari chicane that time. I thought Chigarimbo well and truly nailed him, but no, round the outside Lomliev had him well defended. And as they come back up the straight once again, we've only got 32 seconds on the clock as they come across the line. And Rowledge is up the inside of Edgar and takes the lead back. So Rowledge is back in front. Edgar in 2nd, McLean in 3rd. Then it's Walker, Aguilera, Lomliev and Chigarimbo. So Jessica Edgar's reign at the top lasts a good 3 or 4 laps, but Josh Rowledge is back in front. Can Edgar reclaim the lead again? She's already starting to look at Josh Rowledge, who defends the inside of the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Edgar is squeezed a little bit there in terms of pace. Now going to try and take on Rowledge once again because Josh McLean is reeling them both in rapidly. There could be a chance here, but McLean is going to dive right round the outside of the hairpin. Is there enough grip? Not to make the overtake, certainly, but plenty to get the next move done as they go into the last lap. Rowledge still has Edgar and McLean breathing down his neck as they go in a cafe for the last time. Walker's in 4th now, in front of Ian Aguilera. And Chigarimbo's made the move on Lomliev into the final lap. Lomliev still fighting back. The 2 championship contenders could finish at opposite ends of the field. Rowledge could be the winner with Lomliev in last. Let's see how it goes in this last lap. Edgar's going to try one more time for Rowledge, and surely her only hope now is going to be the hairpin down at the bottom end of the circuit, but Josh McLean is close to her as well. Through Hanger Corner. Is second place going to be enough for Edgar? McLean's going to go the long way round, and I think it's going to be stalemate. Josh Rowledge pouncing at exactly the right moment and takes the checkered flag while his title opponent falters. Rowledge wins it. Edgar in second. Third is McLean. Fourth is Aaron Walker. A great fight back in front of Ian Aguilera. Rashan Chigarimbo sixth. And Ivan Lomliev is the last man home. That is dramatic. Dead heat in the championship before this race. And that is a sign of the times. Rowledge is definitely on the march. Well, a very exciting race there. The fastest lap of the race from the 14, Josh Rowledge as well, who takes the victory by 0.15 of a second from Jess Edgar, Josh McLean, Aaron Walker, Ian Aguilera, Rashan Chigarimbo, and Ivan Lomliev. A very exciting Mini X30 race. Moving up next, we have already got the drivers ready to go for TKM Extreme.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
There's already a very late lunge there for the E-Plane as they come out of the pits, and somehow they got Pete Newman's kart started at the last possible moment as the gate came up and the green flag flew. So the drivers are getting out onto the circuit for the first heat in TKM Extreme this weekend, and it's going to see Sam Fowler and Pete Newman line up on the front row of the starting grid. Christian Briley and Rob Wellham will be on the second row from Joe Reed-Smith and Harry Moore. Josh Sheriff and Max Goldsmith will be next up from Louis Bevan, Zach Bowen, Mitchell Ball and Carl Sproat. Then it's John Hogan and Lee Whittingham, Adam Sparrow, the championship leader, along with Matthew Horton. Then it is Owain Rosser and Gavin Pitt, Matthew Ayres and Reese Cullen-Jones, Joe Stockford and Amy Duke, Isaac Marsh and Megan Lawson, Lewis Rushforth, Nathan Wells and Sam Johns, although I'm not sure where the number 30 of Nathan Wells is. I think they're trying to get him started. I think he's still in the pits at the moment, the number 30. And yes, indeed, it looks to me as though they have got him started. So Nathan Wells will continue around the circuit. Well, the race has started. He could well have joined them from the cut-through, but now he's going to be very nearly a lap down as the race gets underway. And it is an absolutely cracking start as they fly through Cafe Corner for the first time. No problems off the start for Sam Fowler. He launches into an immediate lead here. And that was exactly what he was hoping for as they go through the hairpin for the first time. Newman, Briley, Wellham and Reeve-Smith very much still in contention. Harry Moore trying to move his way forward. And as they jostle for position in the Bruno Ferrari chicane, so far so good. No major catastrophes as poor number 30, Sam Johns, is now going to join in. Nathan Wells is going to join in right at the tail end of the field. Very nearly a lap down already. But as the field comes through at the end of the first lap, Sam Fowler has control of the race at the moment from the sharp end. So Fowler is your leader. The 37 is next up. That is Christian Briley. Then it's Reeve-Smith. Sheriff in a brilliant fourth place from Newman. Louis Bevan having a good run. Then it's Goldsmith, Moore, Zach Bowen and Mitchell Ball in the top 10. Owain Rosser's already making up good progress. He's up 5 places to 12th. Rob Wellham's had a nightmare start. He's down to 13th, and we've got stationary yellows because we've got a kart in trouble on the approach to the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Now, I'm not entirely sure who that is that's in trouble, but we've seemed to have lost 2 from the fray, one of which is John Hogan, and the other is Lee Whittingham. So it looks as though we've lost Hogan and Whittingham, and Matthew Horton got involved in that one as well, unfortunately, by the look of it. So 2 of them very much out of contention as the 73 of John Hogan is trying to bring the kart back home. Well, the field continues. They must have had a coming together at the hairpin, unfortunately, so game over for them. But out in front, it is still Sam Fowler. From now, Joe Reeve-Smith, who's moved himself into second place. This is much better from the Litchfield Motorsport driver, who's had a difficult start to the year. But now, Joe Reeve-Smith here at Shenington seems to have found his feet. Third place is Briley. Then it's Joshua Sheriff. Well, 73 John Hogan has got going again, and despite damage to the side pod, is still racing. Lee Whittingham, unfortunately, though, has retired from the race. So clearly, out of the race on the first lap after a collision with John Hogan. Hogan's got the kart back up to speed again as Joe Reeve-Smith defends from Briley. Then it's Newman, Sheriff, Goldsmith, Bevan, Bowen, Ball, Moore, Wellham, Sproat, Rosser, Stockford, Pitt and Sparrow, who is all the way down in 16th place, the championship leader, really struggling to make up ground. So down the back straight, Sam Fowler's got a good cushion over Joe Reeve-Smith at the moment. The gap is just over a second by the look of it. It was 0.77 the last time round, but I think those second place drivers, Briley and Reeve-Smith, have been jostling for position. Briley taking the place off Reeve-Smith, and then Reeve-Smith getting it straight back again. So let's see them as they come across the line this time by. Still Fowler, still Reeve-Smith fighting through the second, and up to third now has come the E-plate of Newman. So Briley is there. The gap is now up to 0.82. Fowler leads, Reeve-Smith, Newman, Briley, Sheriff, Goldsmith, Bevan, Bowen, Moore and Mitchell Ball. So they're still there in the top 10. Rob Wellham is down the order to 11th position. So he's still trying to make up places, but he started from P5. Carl Sproat hasn't made the sort of progress he would have liked to. Stockford and Pitt, well, they are currently 13th and 14th ahead of Owain Rosser and Adam Sparrow. So Stockford's up 8 places off the grid. So is Sam Johns, actually, up to 19th now. So the grid is a little bit skew-whiff in a few places. But up at the front, no change and no problem for Sam Fowler, who leads the way here. Joe Reeve-Smith in second. Hanging on in front of the E-plate, Pete Newman. Then it's Christian Briley. Up to 5th is Josh Sheriff, as we know. Josh Sheriff, the rookie, is having a great season. Leading rookie and second best privateer behind Pete Newman. So Josh Sheriff having a good run at the office at the moment as they come off the turn and down through to the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Once again comes Sam Fowler, whose lead is 0.7 of a second. As up into second goes Pete Newman. The E-plate holder is now the runner-up in this race. As things currently stand, he's got a lot of work to do to keep up with the race leader Sam Fowler, but with some support from Joe Reeve-Smith, that is definitely doable. They come off the final turn and onto the main straight once more. Still a good battle in the offing here as Fowler leads. Newman in second place. Third is Reeve-Smith. Fourth is Briley. And up to 5th place now has come Max Goldsmith. The Jade Racing driver has got past Josh Sheriff with Zach Bowen in pursuit. Some great racing through the field as in Cafe, the 67, gets a little sideways there. Reese Cullen-Jones in his bid to overtake Matthew Ayres. Great driving all the way through this field as Pete Newman continues to hold his place in P2. They go down the hanger straight once again as watching battles all the way through the field. Whoa, Reese Cullen-Jones really getting the worst of it there through the Bruno Ferrari chicane, losing about 5 places in total. So running a little bit sideways, unfortunately. I'm not sure whether he was run off or whether he lost control. It wasn't very clear. But here is the 3 out in front. Sam Fowler in front of the E-plate. Pete Newman. Then Joseph Reeve-Smith. Christian Briley is next. Then a bit of a gap back to Goldsmith and Sheriff fighting for 5th and 6th. Bevan, Bowen, Moore, Ball, Wellham, Pitt and Stockford. Sproat, Rosser and Sparrow have not changed positions for a while now, so no change there. So still, these 3 in 2nd, 3rd and 4th, Newman, Reeve-Smith and Briley are trying to close up on Sam Fowler as Gavin Pitt gets the warning flag. I'm not sure what that's for, but apparently Gavin Pitt has transgressed in some way and needs a warning from the officials, so he will get one this time by as the warning flag will come out. But now on the far side, it is these 4 as they come through to Cafe Ben for the, that's the 9th time of asking. Fowler, Newman, Reeve-Smith and Briley. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And it looks to me as though Newman might be sizing up a move for the lead. He was coming from a long way back. But can Newman use that momentum with assistance from Joseph Reeve-Smith to crack the front of the field? Is he going to be past Sam Fowler by the time they cut through? Yes, he is. Battling away for position and up the inside. That was Joe Reeve-Smith having a crack at Sam Fowler. But Pete Newman, the E-plate, is now in the lead. And that move from Joe Reeve-Smith has cost Sam Fowler a few kart lengths. So with 1:17 on the clock, Pete Newman may have taken the lead at exactly the right moment in this race. They come down the straight once again, but Sam Fowler is not letting him escape. Joe Reeve-Smith's got Christian Briley to deal with. Then there's a titanic match for 5th position as they try to deal with the 28 of Louis Bevan, who has come forward. Bevan has made his way up in a P5. Some truly brilliant driving there from Bevan. As here come the leaders. Pete Newman still in front, but Sam Fowler is right there in second. Then it's Reeve-Smith and Briley. And then Louis Bevan somehow has fought his way up to 5th position there in front of Goldsmith, Harry Moore and Josh Sheriff. Now Adam Sparrow's making up places. He's up to 14th now. So he's made up a place or two as the leaders are going to come through this time by, and it's very close again. Is that Fowler back in front? No, it's not. Newman still hangs on, but with only 23 seconds to go as they came across the line, it's now or never for Sam Fowler, and he knows it. A good battle there, but it looks to me as though Louis Bevan has been caught out and has lost a couple of places to Goldsmith and Harry Moore. So I think Bevan has dropped from 5th to 7th. We'll double check that as they come across the line next time by, which will be the start of the last lap. Newman hanging on in front of Sam Fowler, and that means that Reeve Smith and Briley have still got a shot at this. Up to 5th has come Goldsmith. Bevan's back at the 6th place in front of Harry Moore and Josh Sheriff. So he has managed to hold on to another position, or I should say take one back again. And as the leaders come through, they're going to begin their last lap here at Shenington, the first heat of the weekend for TKM Extreme. Here they come. Newman still hangs on in front of Fowler, Reeve Smith and Briley. Then it's Goldsmith, Bevan, Moore. And then it is the 82 of Mitchell Ball from Wellham and Sheriff. So Sheriff's lost a few places. Fastest lap of the race thus far is Zach Bowen. But as they come down to the Brunner Ferrari chicane for the last time, it's going to be tight between Newman and Fowler. Fowler's making all of the work as he possibly can to get onto the tail of Newman. They go down the hanger straight. It looks to me as though he's going to try one last trick. Can Newman hang on to it through that last part of the course? Looks to me as though he can. He's hanging on to it through the final hairpin. And Pete Newman is going to get the first TKM Extreme win of the weekend. Great result for Pete Newman in front of Sam Fowler, Joseph Reeve Smith and Christian Briley. But Pete Newman, the E-Plate, is the victorious one in TKM Extreme, the first heat of the weekend. What a way to start proceedings. Fowler second from Reeve Smith and Christian Briley, then Max Goldsmith and Louis Bevan. Harry Moore in 7th from Rob Wellham and Mitchell Ball, then Josh Sheriff and Joe Stockford up 10 places. Owain Rosser, Gavin Pitt and championship leader Adam Sparrow only 14th in that one. Zach Bowen, Carl Sproat, Amy Duke, Sam Johns, Matthew Ayres, Lewis Rushforth, Reese Cullen-Jones, Megan Lawson, Isaac Marsh, Nathan Wells and John Hogan are the only other finishers, with Matthew Horton was a finisher, a lap away from the victory in the end, and unfortunately the only retirement from the race, Lee Whittingham. So a very dramatic start to proceedings, but well, an exciting race, and Pete Newman taking a very hard-fought and worthy victory in what has been a really exciting start to proceedings. So it's a good job for Pete Newman in front of Sam Fowler, Joseph Reeve Smith and Christian Briley. Half a second covered the top 4 at the flag. The next race on the bill is going to come from Junior TKM, and it's coming up incredibly quickly.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Time to go racing again, this time for Junior TKM, the 5th heat of the day, and incredibly the hard work of the officials around the circuit means that by my mathematics, we are now only 2.5 minutes behind schedule, which I'm sure will make up at the end of this 2KM race. Absolutely amazing considering that half-hour stoppage at the end of the first Honda Cadet race of the weekend. Very exciting race in front of us. Jack Nicholson and Abby Pulling on the front row of the grid from Oliver Richardson and Zach Oates, Spencer Stevenson and Ben Watson, Harry Yardley Rose and Ashton Wigley, Zach Taylor and Connor Kearney, from Morgan Kidd and Scott Smith, Joe Harrison and Dan Butterworth, Archie Strong and Ben Higgins, from Jensen Davis and Alex Page, Dan McKeown and Steve Newsham, Harry Arthur and Louis Harvey, Dominic Kilmister, Oliver Stratford, Will Orton and Max Davies. So the drivers are getting themselves back into position around the circuit, and we are going to go round again, I do believe. So I think it is because Lee Whittingham's car was just being recovered from the fray. So he was just off to the right side of the circuit as they were recovering his car. So they have been sent around one more time. So Jack Nicholson, obviously that's the namesake, alongside Abby Pulling, with Oliver Richardson and Zach Oates on the front row of the grid. The first two rows of the grid, I should say, sorry. Spencer Stevenson and Ben Watson on the third from Harry Yardley Rose and Aston Wigley. Zach Taylor is there alongside Connor Kearney with Morgan Kidd and Scott Smith. Joe Harrison and Dan Butterworth. A big problem for Butterworth. He needs to pick this up. Archie Strong and Ben Higgins. Then Jensen Davis and Alex Page. Dan McKeown and Ethan Newsham. Another one who needs to work his way forward along with McKeown. Harry Arthur and Louis Harvey. Dominic Kilmister. Oliver Stratford. And then Will Orton and Max Davies. So the field are now getting themselves up to speed again. So this is going to be an interesting start with Jack Nicholson pole position fresh out of the blocks. Abby Pulling hasn't obviously raced here for a good 6 months, I'm told. So this is going to be a really interesting battle to see her back up to scratch. In the first practice, she was about 0.2 of a second away. In the second practice, she had got her speed back. Away we go. And already, Abby Pulling is down to third. So she's dropped into third position already, as up into second place has come the 23 of Oliver Richardson. So Richardson has broken into second place, tucked in behind Jack Nicholson. And as they go through to the hairpin for the first time, no problems at all for Jack Nicholson, who leads the way here. The 32 for Precision Racing is doing an absolutely brilliant stuff out in first place. Then in second, it is Oliver Richardson. Third is Abby Pulling. And as the field goes through the Bruno Ferrari chicane, it's clean as a whistle. No major catastrophes at the start of things already. So as the drivers work their way through, it is no problem at the moment. They come off the turn, and it looks like a bit of a squabble as they come over the line. I think 2 or 3 drivers have been squashed in together, and as a result, we've got a new leader. No, we don't. We've got a new second place. That is the E-plate of Zach Oates. So Zach Oates has come up to second after a brilliant opening lap. So after a very strong run, it looks to me now as if we've got Nicholson, Oates, Richardson, Pulling, Stevenson and Aston Wigley, who's come up 2 places. From Yardley Rose, Kearney, Ben Watson and Zach Taylor. A warning flag, though, has gone to the 31. That is Will Orton. And I'm actually wondering if there is a slight problem for Oliver Stratford, the 80. I wonder if he's got a slow puncture on the left rear, because it looked to me as though he'd got a little bit out of sorts there in that first couple of corners, and I wonder if the kart is just looking a little bit loose. I could be wrong, but the E-plate is there in second place. Back up to third comes Abby Pulling, and up to fifth goes Spencer Stevenson, making a move on Aston Wigley. So through they come. Well, the 80 has come off the back of the field, and I think there is a major problem developing for the 80. Something is not right with Oliver Stratford's kart. It's not looking very well balanced at the rear end of the car in particular, so maybe there is something happening, like a suspension issue, or I should say an axle issue really, or a slow puncture possibly. There might be something wrong with the stub axle, but something is not right with the 80 of Oliver Stratford. It looks very, very loose at the back end, and looks quite wobbly, so we'll have to figure out what's happening there. Back at the front, though, it is the E-plate now in third position, because Abby Pulling has got her way back into second place. Now chasing after the leader, Jack Nicholson. Dan Butterworth's made a good run out of that one as the 34 struggles for position there. That's Jensen Davis running back. And there is the confirmation. The 80 is definitely in trouble. Oliver Stratford cruises into the pits. I didn't think it was all rosy there. But unfortunately, the 80 is out of the race, and I kind of suspected that. Abby Pulling is in the lead. Well, that didn't take too long. It's lap 4, And Abby Pulling has hit the front once again. The master of junior TKM at the moment, Abby Pulling. Runner-up in 2016, champion in 2017, looking to make it back-to-back titles in 2018, and certainly going about it the right way with her championship opposition, Dan Butterworth, a long way down the field. There is the number 10, just in there with Morgan Kidd at the moment, as they battle away for 13th position. So Butterworth in major problems at this point. A big squabble there for the 20. That is a bit of a problem for Ben Higgins, who has dropped a long way back. And where are Dan McKeown and Harry Arthur? They haven't come through. There is the 22 on his own, trying to get the car back under a straight line. That's Harry Arthur, but Dan McKeown has not come through. So problems, I fear, for Dan McKeown, and it looks as though his race might be over at the hairpin. But Abby Pulling leads the way, and in second place is still Jack Nicholson, hanging on in front of the E-plate of Zach Oates. Then it's Wigley, Richardson, Kearney, Stevenson, Yardley Rose, Watson, Strong, Taylor, Smith, and Dan Butterworth. In front of Morgan Kidd, Joe Harrison, Alex Page, Jensen Davis, Dominic Kilmister, and Max Davies ahead of Will Orton. From Louis Harvey, Ethan Newsham, Ben Higgins, and Harry Arthur. So sadly, retirements from both Dan McKeown and Oliver Stratford as the racing continues on for the remaining 24 karts. And Abby Pulling is trying her best to control this race from the front. But Jack Nicholson is giving all sorts of pressure, and Zach Oates is reading them both in. It's looking mighty tighty out there at the front end of these three. As up to the inside line, Abby Pulling looks pretty strong. Up the inside, though, that's a late lunge from Jack Nicholson, and through, and also through is Zach Oates. Zach Oates in a second place. So Abby Pulling drops to third position for the moment, but there's an opportunity for her to fight back. There's still 3 minutes and 6 on the clock, plus that one additional lap at the end. So let's see if she can make her way back. Well, she's in third and still staying close to the front too. But let's not forget that in fourth place is Aston Wigley, and there's a warning flag gone out for Oliver Richardson. The leading rookie in sixth place has been given a warning. Now, what on earth was that for? I didn't see anything dodgy there. But Oliver Richardson apparently has transgressed in some way, and the officials need to remind him. So out in front, that is the E-plate. Zach Oates has got to the front now in front of Jack Nicholson. Abby Pulling in third. Fourth place is Aston Wrigley. Fifth is now Connor Kearney in front of Ben Watson and Oliver Richardson. Yardley Rose and Spencer Stevenson. Strong, Taylor, Smith, Kidd, Butterworth. Morgan Kidd's doing a grand job here, battling away with Dan Butterworth, who, let's not forget, is second in the championship. And Morgan Kidd, I've said this a couple of times, I feel that if she hadn't had that shunt at Lark Hall at the opening round, she'd be firmly in the top 10 in the points. Well, she's out to prove it today, no doubt. But here comes the other fast lady, Abby Pulling, now into second position. So Abby Pulling's got through in a second behind Zach Oates with just under 2 minutes plus the additional lap to go. And Aston Wrigley now looks set to pounce on the back of Jack Nicholson. Connor Kearney is next, then Ben Watson, who is now the leading rookie. They sweep through. A nice move there from Will Orton up the inside of Jensen Davis as they battle away in Cafe Corner. Side by side for the majority of that stretch of road. But as the leaders come through, Abby Pulling is in front. Zach Oates has got a launch to defend, and there's contact between Nicholson and Oates, and it's going to make it 3 wide behind as Connor Kearney is going to surge through to third position. Great opportunistic move from Connor Kearney. So Kearney is through in a P3. Banzai down the hanger straight. Saw the gap and took it. Thanks very much for the memories, guys. And Pulling now leads from Zach Oates and Connor Kearney. Through in a fourth place as well comes the 94 of Ben Watson. Nicholson down to fifth. Wigley down to seventh behind Harry Yardley Rose. Then it's Richardson, Zach Taylor and Spencer Stevenson. All of Abby Pulling's immediate opposition are really struggling here. And it looks as though this championship lead is being gift wrapped to her on a silver platter. Fifth position is a pretty intense battle now. Jack Nicholson, Harry Yardley Rose, Wigley, Richardson, Taylor, Stevenson, Strong, Morgan Kidd and Scott Smith with Dan Butterworth in the mix as well. And half a second back from him is Joe Harrison. Warning flag goes to the 58, so clearly the blame for that was put on Aston Wigley. They decide to blame him for it. As up the inside, that's a sweet move for third from Ben Watson. Watson dives up the inside of turn one, sweeps through on Connor Kearney, and that is job done in a P3 for the moment with time running out. as we're on the penultimate lap here at Shenington. A third position dice from Ben Watson at exactly the right moment. Will the rookie be in the third position slot by the time we're done and dusted? Well, there's an argument to suggest he might get second, because he and the man behind him, Connor Kearney, are charging after Zach Oates, and there's a big gap to Abby pulling out front. Warning flag this time goes to Jack Nicholson. Frustration having been on pole and now squabbling for the lower scraps. Clearly for Jack Nicholson as we go into the penultimate lap and now into the last lap. It is pulling from these three in second, third and fourth. Zach Oates, Ben Watson and Connor Kearney. Then it's the 19 that's come up to fifth place. Goodness me, Harry Yardley Rose has been on a mission there. Up in a P5. Then it's Richardson, Wigley, Taylor Strong, Nicholson, Kidd, Smith, Spencer Stevenson and Dan Butterworth. Although Butterworth was side by side with Stevenson. I'm not sure if the job's done, as still Oates hangs on in front of Watson and Kearney. Yardley Rose hangs on a fifth, and there's a bit of a squabble as Butterworth has now made the move back on Spencer Stevenson. Makes a mistake through the S's though, and I think that's going to be the place lost as out of the final turn, Abby Pulling marches to victory in the first race of the weekend here at Shenington. A great result for Abby Pulling, but second place for Zach Oates is a great result. And Ben Watson in third position. What a drive from the rookie. Terrific job from Watson. Fourth place for Connor Kearney. Both of those drivers utilising the draft and getting up into third and fourth place on merit. And a good drive too from Harry Yardley Rose, with Richardson in sixth from Wigley, Strong in eighth place from Zach Taylor, and in the top 10, Morgan Kidd charged her way through to 10th place. Good result there. Nicholson down to 11th from pole position, Smith in 12th from Stevenson, Harrison and Dan Butterworth only 15th. Davies is 16th from Page, Newsham, Kilmister and Orton. Then it's Jensen Davis, Louis Harvey, Ben Higgins and Harry Arthur, with only McKeown and Stratford out of the race on lap 4. But a very dramatic race, that one. Saw Abby Pulling taking the victory by 1.75. And that's not the kind of gap that the others wanted her to have at the finish, that's for definite. Ayami Cadet is up next.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Wow, exciting race battles so far here on Downforce UK as we've been watching the action from the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. Jake Sanson here up in the commentary box at Shenington Kart Racing Club. If you're listening along at home and you're rooting on a particular driver, do please message us in the Spreaker chat box and we'll send out those messages over the airwaves here on the tannoy at Shenington and of course all over the internet and the world, wherever you may be listening from. Great action so far then from the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. 5 races down and 11 to go today, with some absolutely spectacular races on the way. The next one in the charge is Ayami Cadet, and have already seen some pretty spectacular battles from this season. It looks as though we're going to get another one with the championship leader Arvid Lindblad alongside one of his closest rivals in the championship, Will McIntyre. Their battle is going to be an interesting one as the season develops, of course, but there's still plenty of speed to come from these guys as they continue to hustle around the circuit. And we know it's only going to be inevitable before these two cross swords several times in the championship standings. And the green flag, and the gate goes up. So let's go back to the action.
Racing once again here at Shenington, and it's Arvid Lindblad and Will McIntyre that leads them out for the Ayami Cadet first heat of the weekend. Sam Shaw and Maximus Hall, the Gladiator, on the second row of the grid from Freddie Slater and Max Dodds. Brandon Carr and Vinnie Phillips are on the fourth row from Harley Keeble and Alfie Baxter Davies. Leo Robinson and Archie Clark are next up from Luke Watts and Ashton Hodgson, Harley Horton and Charlie Rippin, Oliver Wright and Ella Stevens, Fionn McLaughlin and Bart Harrison, MJ Ganini and Hadi Mamasi, Luke Sidler and Edu Robinson, from Gabriel Still, Harry Junior Burgoyne, Sebastian Weldon, Max Barrow, and the man who was excluded for a technical infringement from qualifying, Aidan Neat. So Neat is going to be charging his way forward from the tail end, and then see how things go from here, because obviously it's going to be an incredibly close battle from that first lap. The drivers are now making their way out of the final hairpin. It is going to be a tough tough run to the first couple of corners of the race, and it's always pretty tight here at Shenington. Here we go, and they are up to speed already, racing their heart out through the first couple of corners into Cafe for the first time. And already it's close for Lindblad. Shaw is up to second place, and there's 3 off behind. MJ Canini and Aidan Neat have tangled with the 71 of Luke Sintler. So problems, unfortunately, for MJ Canini and for Aidan Neat as he tries to make his progress up through the field. And that's made the job 10 times harder for Neat, unfortunately. MJ Canini with a lot of work to do as well, the South African. But at least he's got away from that better than he did at Wilton Mill. Meanwhile, up to second place now. That looks like a fight back from... Is that Freddie Slater up into second place? I can't quite tell from the distance. No, Freddie Slater's suit is white. He's still there in 5th position. I think that's got to be Will McIntyre then, back into second place, initially losing it to Sam Shaw, but he seems to have found his ground back once again, and is now into second place. So as they come over the line, it is still Arvid Lindblad in the lead. McIntyre back to second place from Shaw. Then 4th place, that is Freddie Slater, and into 5th is Max Hall. So Maximus Hall, the Gladiator, in front of Harley Keeble. And the next man in is the 3 of Maxwell Dodds. Then it's Brandon Carr from Phillips, Baxter Davies, Harley Horton, Luke Watts, Leo Robinson, Hodgson, Rippin, Clark, McLaughlin, Mamassi, Harrison, Stevens, Robinson and Oliver Wright. So the battle is well and truly joined at the far side of the circuit as the drivers are getting themselves up to speed. And it looks to me as though we've got a big battle on our hands for the lead of this one. The top 3 are breaking clear and breaking ranks already, as up to 4th place has come Freddie Slater, trying to get some assistance from his rival Harley Keeble as they move their way forward. They come back to the front end of the field, up through the hairpin, and it's still Arvid Lindblad, the championship leader, by 4 points to his teammate Max Dodds, who is currently on the lower skirts of the top 6. But up the inside, McIntyre's going to make the space and gets the lead. Shaw's going to try and make the same space and doesn't manage it. But McIntyre leads now. McIntyre takes the lead in front of Lindblad and Shaw. Then it's Slater, Keeble, Dodds up to 6th place in front of Maximus Hall. Then it's Carr, Phillips and Baxter Davies. Couple of movers in the first few laps. Harley Horton and Charlie Rippin up 2, as is Luke Watts. Fionn McLaughlin's come up 4. Hattie Mamassi's come up to 17th. So that's 5 places made up by the Canadian. And Ellis Stevens is on the move again as well, up to 18th. Harry Jr. Burgoyne has come up to 19th place. 7 places made up. Good work there from Harry Jr. So Ollie Wright is in the mix there in 20th, ahead of Harrison, Hodgson, Robinson, Barrow, Sintler, Sebastian Weldon, Gabriel Stelp. And then it's Aidan Neat and MJ Canini still trying to make up progress. Over the line once again. These 3 still battling at it. Will McIntyre holds the lead, hanging on in front of Lindblad and Shaw. 3 very different drivers in the mix here. And as they come off the turn one more time, it's going to get very close from here on in. They continue to battle away. It looks as though there's a transponding issue for Alfie Baxter Davies, although he is still showing up in 9th position. So he's just going to have to continue in the fray as he is. He won't even know there's an issue. Through the Bruno Ferrari chicane, and that looks like a bit of a caught-out problem there for one of the ORM drivers. I think that is going to be Brandon Carr, who got a little bit held up there. So I think a couple of places lost. We'll double-check as they come across the line. Hard to spot from the distance, of course. I'll have me Benolicas out tomorrow, don't you worry, folks. What do you mean I can't say it properly? Out of the final turn, and over the start-finish straight once again. McIntyre, Lindblad and Shaw still battling away for the victory as Lindblad tucks in behind Will McIntyre. 4th position, Freddie Slater, Maximus Hall. Then it's Keeble up the inside. A great move from Alfie Baxter Davies to move up into 7th place as he battles with Brandon Carr. So some good battles through this field as they continue to charge forward. And as they come off the turn, down the back straight, things going very well indeed for these 2 at the front end. McIntyre and Lindblad trying to get away from Sam Shaw. But these 3 have broken ranks and got clear. Meanwhile, Freddie Slater's lost 4th place to Maximus Hall. The Gladiator has come forward again into 4th position. Down the back straight. Into the hangar corner through the right flick. The 3 leaders unchanged at the moment as they remain in position. Arvid Lindblad. Actually, I think Lindblad may have got through to the lead, actually, coming through. No, not quite. Lindblad still there in 2nd position, chasing down our race leader. McIntyre, in fact, trying to get away from Shaw. Then it is Maximus Hall in front of Slater, Keeble. Then it is the 25 of Carr, back in front of Dodds and Luke Watts, with Leo Robinson and Alfie Baxter Davies having slipped now to 11th position. So a tough run thus far. But as they come down the back straight into the S's, it's always going to be a tricky part of the course as McIntyre makes his bid to get past Lindblad. Other way round. Lindblad trying to get past McIntyre. And in 3rd place, Sam Shaw. So the battle's still raging. Now, it looks as though we've had a moment there for Gabriel Stilp. I think he's come off the road and dropped to the back of the field, the 42, sadly. Gabriel Stilp has got a bit of work to do to make it up, which I'm sure he'll be able to in the second heat. We'll come back to that a bit later. But as the leaders come across the line, McIntyre and Lindblad are trading apexes and desperately trying to get away from Sam Shaw. This is what I like about Arvid Lindblad. He always plays the smart game, the long game. He knows you can't win a race in the first couple of laps. So he's going to try and continue his charge forward. Really exciting tussle this as he continues to push on. But it's McIntyre from Lindblad. Shaw, Hall, Slater, Keeble, Carr, Dodds, Watts, Robinson, Baxter, Davies and Horton. And still Sam Shaw is just sitting there in third position, waiting in the wings for a moment. And if he gets one, then again, he's going to charge forward and take that chance. But Will McIntyre is looking good in first position at the moment as he hangs on to this lead in front of Arvid Lindblad. Things still looking a-okay from his perspective as he continues to mount this challenge. But it's still all guns blazing. And as they continue to run through, we've got plenty to talk about here. McIntyre in front of Lindblad. They come back onto the straight once again. Through the left-hand flick. And look at this side by side, the 20, 37 and 87 all in the mix there. That's Horton, Robinson and Phillips all battling away for position. Really exciting racing here as they continue to charge forward. But out in front, it is still Fusion versus ORM. Will McIntyre versus Arvid Lindblad, as I expected it probably would be in this race. But Freddie Slater is desperately trying to work with Maximus Hall to catch up with these guys. They're almost 2 seconds back. And we're running out of time rapidly. There's only 1 minute 10 on the board, plus the additional lap. So as they come through this time by, over the line, and still battling away for position. This is going to get quite close. As here comes Arvid Lindblad, dives on the inside of Cafe. I thought he was going to wait for his moment, and there he goes. Arvid Lindblad into the lead at exactly the right moment there. And there's a yellow flag at the chicane. Yellow flag at the chicane. It's Bart Harrison. Bart Harrison has gone off into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. So they're trying to get his kart out of the way, and he is out of position, so that's okay. Stationary yellow because he's behind the barriers, but into the lead has gone Arvid Lindblad at exactly the right moment, but being a little bit cautious has caught him out, but Will McIntyre's impeded, and that's enough for Sam Shaw to sweep up the inside. Now, green flag is on the exit of the apex, so that's a perfectly legal move for Sam Shaw. He's going to be perfectly all right to get away with that. So, yes, Sam Shaw is through in a second place, and that's a perfectly legal overtake. Now they're swamping. Arvid Lindblad is through in a first. Shaw is through in a second, and look at that. They're jostling. Has brought Slater and Hall into play with just 2 laps to go. So now it's a 5-way dogfight. Lindblad, Shaw, McIntyre, Slater and Hall. They go out of the hairpin and down the runway straight, up towards the Bruno Ferrari chicane. As they come back into view, it is Lindblad in the lead of Shaw. Up the inside goes McIntyre trying to step on the inside, and there's not a lot of room for Shaw. He runs wide, and there's more karts in the mix because Dodds, Keeble, Carr and Watts have caught up to them as well. So it looks like all 8 of them are going to be in this mix, but Sam Shaw looks to me that he's run out of road there on the far side of the chicane and gone over the curbs and lost time. So whether he was put there or whether he just ran out of speed, I'm not entirely sure. But we're going into the last lap now. Lindblad is in front of McIntyre and Slater. Hall is 4th. 5th is Dodds. 6th is Scar. Then it is the 12 and the 10. What has happened to Sam Shaw? He's dropped back behind the 87 of Vinnie Phillips, and he's going backwards. All sorts of problems now for Sam Shaw. I think he's developed some damage after running over that curb, because he was in 9th, and now Phillips and Rio Robinson have both got through. So an almost certain second place for Sam Shaw, now disappearing. What a shame. Sam Shaw's gone off the road now at the chicane, and I'm afraid that signals the end of his chance of points in the front end of the field. So Sam Shaw is just going to cruise home. Unfortunately, a victory taken away from him that time, or at least the chance of it, but the checkered flag flies out front, and Will McIntyre's on his own. McIntyre wins it. Lindblad is 2nd. Slater comes through to 3rd. From Max Hall, Dodds, Keeble, Carr and Watts. Well, they were all very much held up. McIntyre's winning margin was 7/10 in the end. Good job, Will McIntyre. Great race from the Fusion driver. That was pretty sensational stuff. But a very sad end to the race for the number 9 of Sam Shaw, who could very easily have battled his way to the victory of that one, and he knows it. It's absolutely heartbreaking for Sam Shaw, the number 9, who comes across the line in 27th position. That is agony for Shaw. When things were going so well, when he had a great card underneath him, when the pace was good, when the wind was on, and to suddenly tumble away to 27th is heartbreaking. But it's McIntyre who wins from Lindblad and Slater. Hall is the 4th place from Dodds and Keeble. Carr is 7th from Watts, Phillips and Robinson in the top 10. Then it's Fionn McLaughlin charging through to 11th place. Great drive from the Irishman, from Charlie Rippon and Archie Clark. Oliver Wright is 14th from Alfie Baxter Davies and Ashton Hodgson. Hayden Mamassi and Harley Horton. Aidan Neat fought back to 19th in the end, with Harry Junior Burgoyne in 20th. A difficult race for MJ Canini, but he battles back to 21st, ahead of Luke Sintler and the slightly fading Ella Stevens there. Eddie Robinson, Max Barrow, Sebastian Weldon, and then Sam Shaw and Gabriel Stilt with that retirement on lap 8 from Bart Harrison. Disappointing for Sam Shaw, glorious for Will McIntyre. The rest of the field scratching their heads as to how they let him get away on the last lap to the tune of 0.7 of a second. More great racing to come, of course, though. As we're done with Army Cadet, we move on next to Senior X30. And all I can say is bring it on.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So with great racing still coming in there, really disappointing to see Sam Shaw have an opportunity for the win snatched away from him there in the final couple of laps, suddenly tumbling down from 2nd place all the way down to 27th. That's such a shame, and I'm hoping that he'll have the resolve and the character to build himself back up into position. Those of you listening at home, wherever you might be in the world, or even here in the pits if you're tuned into the Spreaker live stream, do please send us your messages in the chat box. Who are you cheering for? Who are you rooting on this weekend? Who's going to be the race victors in each of the classes? Let us know. We're going back into the action now, though, with Senior X30.
Let's rock and roll again. It's Joe Turney from pole position in Senior X30 from Oliver Hodgson. Morgan Porter and Rory Hudson on the 2nd row. Sean Butcher and Lewis Malin on row 3 for Patrick Rundqvist and Thomas Turner. Then Ewan Wilson and Saul Robinson, ahead of Levi King and Jensen Brown. Matt Armstrong and Brad Pennell are alongside each other from Mo Ibrahim and Sam Stansbury. Then Henry Laws and Rashid Ghanem, Scott Jackson and Anna Morris, Jake Douglas, Derek Morgan, Alex Lux, Sky Siddle, Gregorio Perez, Kieran Long, hoping to fight back after a mechanical problem, Archie Tilley. Let's see how the drivers will form up in position. It looks like neat and tidy as they come out of the final hairpin, and I think we're going to get a clean start straight away. Really exciting battles all day long expected here in the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships, and here in particular it should be a cracking start. It is a good start straight away. Joe Turney hits the front, Porter through to 2nd place immediately. Hodgson trying to come through to 3rd and has made it. Great start as the field jostles through Cafe Corner for the first time, but there's no calamities to speak of, as they all charge their way through the first couple of corners then on this opening lap. And so far so good as the drivers continue to battle away. But as they come back into view at the Bruno Ferrari chicane, it's Joe Turney from Morgan Porter and Oliver Hodgson. 1, 2 and 3 in the standings are 1, 2 and 3 in the race. So as they battle their way down the hanger straight through the hanger corner flick, Morgan Porter already starting to jostle into position behind Joe Turney as he tries to shake off Oliver Hodgson and go on the offense of Joe Turney as they come across the line. Turney, Porter, Hodgson, 1, 2, 3, then it's Hudson, Butcher, Malin, Rundqvist, Turner, Robertson, Wilson and Levi King. A big lunge up the inside from Levi King, and he takes Ewan Wilson into Cafe Corner. Good lunge there from Levi King, who picks up another place as the field jostles its way through. Couple of big movers in that first lap. Derek Morgan in particular is already up to 16th position. So has made up 6 places early doors. Now wait a minute. Where is Morgan Porter? Where is Morgan Porter? He actually led the race on the way through that time by, but I can't figure out where he's gone. So the racers are going to come through this time by, and it's Hodgson in front of Turney. Our Porter's come through in 4th position. So Hodgson, Turney, Hudson, Porter, Butcher, Rundqvist, Malin, Turner, King, Robinson, Wilson and Pennell, with Armstrong, Derek Morgan and Jensen Brown. Now, I've just been given a warning. Could I remind all members of the paddock to keep their dogs on leads? A reminder to all members of the paddock to keep your dogs on leads. There have been a couple of incidents already with a couple of dogs running loose across the field. So please keep your dogs on leads, please. Anybody found transgressing will be asked to leave. Thank you. So Oliver Hodgson battling away with Joe Turney out in front. Not anymore, because up to 2nd place has come Rory Hudson. Hudson's having a great run, and up to 4th comes Butcher. Threatening to take 5th place away too is Rundqvist, but Porter slices the gap through before that can happen. So a really exciting battle. Joe Shaw has just informed us what happened to poor Sam Shaw. He got a puncture running over that curb, so that was the reason he ended up dropping all the way back. So Oliver Hodgson has now taken over the lead of the race. Rory Hudson in 2nd from Joe Turney, and up to 4th has come Sean Butcher, past Porter, Rundqvist, King, Malin, Turner, Robinson, Wilson, Armstrong and Brad Pennell from Derek Morgan and Sam Stansbury. Then it's Jackson, Ibrahim, Ganem, Laws, Brown, Douglas, Long, Tillett, Morris, Luck, Perez and Siddle. And as they come through this time by, Turney's got himself back in a 2nd past Hudson, and Butcher is now hot on Hudson's tail as the racers continue to scrap away. A really exciting battle as they continue to charge forward. So some pretty exciting stuff as the drivers continue to charge forward. Great racing and some absolutely terrific battles. So Oliver Hodgson out in front. Joe Turney now back into 2nd position with Rory Hudson still battling. So this is going to be a fantastic run. And there's still a good 4 minutes and a half plus the additional lap left of this race. So there's still plenty of race action to come, and the drivers are still giving it absolute gusto. Hodgson is your leader. Turney in 2nd. 3rd is Hudson. 4th is the 57 of Butcher. Then it's Morgan Porter. Levi King is there in the top 6 with Tom Turner, Saul Robinson and Lewis Malin. Then Wilson, Armstrong, Morgan, Stansbury, Pennell and Jackson. Leading rookie is still Scott Jackson, battling away with Mo Ibrahim and Rashid Ghanem. And a little jostle of a position there as Sean Butcher manages to keep Rory Hudson at bay. So he's up to 3rd place now. So Sean Butcher has got himself into 3rd place there in the Mick Barrett car, although Rory Hudson is going to try and dive straight back up the inside and get that 3rd place once more. Has that happened? Yes, it has. So Hudson has taken 3rd place back, and Morgan Porter's got back through in a P4. So Sean Butcher working hard. Meanwhile, Joe Turney has taken it upon himself to go back after Oliver Hodgson. As I'm watching the battle through the rest of the field, and Sky Siddle has made the move on the 96 of Gregorio Perez to move up into position and now start chasing after Alex Luck. A few other drivers have made the move as well there. Derek Morgan's come up 10 places to 12th. And there's a little jostle of a position out of the turn. That is Sean Butcher trying to shake off Levi King, and it was unsuccessful. So Levi King is through in a 5th position. Sean Butcher drops back into 6th once more. So Joe Turney chasing after Oliver Hodgson. Hodgson is your race leader. Joe Turney in 2nd place. 3rd is Morgan Porter. 4th is the 41 of Rory Hudson. Then it is Levi King from Thomas Turner and Sean Butcher. Saul Robinson is next up. Then it's Malin, Morgan, Wilson, Rundqvist all the way down to 12th now. Armstrong, Pennell, Jackson and Ibrahim. So Patrick Rundqvist is the leading rookie once again, the Swedish driver, as they go through the Bruno Ferrari chicane once again. Rundqvist trying to fight his way back. He was in the top 6 at one point, of course. So a lot of work to make up to get himself back into position one more time. But a very tricky start to proceedings as Oliver Hodgson is now out in front of Joe Turney. But Joe Turney is pushing in big style to try and gain back some of that ground. Porter now to 3rd from Hudson. Up to 5th comes the O-Plate Thomas Turner. So Thomas Turner's got Levi King, Sean Butcher and Saul Robinson breathing down his neck as they come off the turn one more time. So a great little tussle of a position as the drivers continue to mount a challenge. But Joe Turney is taking the bait to Oliver Hodgson out front. But the gap is just over half a second. And with 1 minute and 47 plus an extra lap left on the clock, that's still quite a big gap to make up. So a really exciting battle in the early stages of proceedings. But a really big disappointment for our race leader, second place at the moment, Joe Turney, if he can't keep up with Oliver Hodgson, the race leader. Porter in third, 41 is Rory Hudson. Then it's Turner, King, Butcher, Robinson, Morgan, Malin, Wilson, Armstrong, Rundqvist, Ibrahim and Pennell. Still a really close battle in that midfield as there are about 8 drivers squabbling over third place, trying to take it to Morgan Porter, although Porter is starting to drop that gaggle and is now moving on to the back of Joe Turney. Derek Morgan still on the warpath, by the way. He's now been in 9th position, so definitely gaining some big ground. And the racing is going to continue on, large and definitely exciting in this last couple of laps. 47, 46, 45 to go. Seconds, that is. Sean Butcher on the back of Levi King, still with Saul Robertson, and then Derek Morgan. So there is Derek Morgan charging his way forward. The 37 in the mix there is Sam Stansbury, in a bit of a rock and a hard place at the moment as he jostles to gain a place while not losing one. Joe Turney just doesn't seem to be able to get close enough to Oliver Hodgson to challenge for the victory in the closing stages of this race. It's all going to come down to, effectively, how well he's looked after his tyres compared to Hodgson, who is one of the best at tyre management, it has to be said, and whether there's 1 lap to go or 2 laps to go. The answer is there are 2, because they come across the line with 7 seconds remaining. So 2 to go. Hodgson in front of Turney, Porter, and the 41 of Rory Hudson in front of the O-plate of Thomas Turner, with Levi King and Sean Butcher having backed into the rest of the field. And that has definitely made the race harder to come by for those 3. So King, Butcher and Robertson are now left to fight for themselves, about 1.4 seconds back from the rest of the field, as Butcher goes for that move on Levi King into the Bruno Ferrari chicane and has to resign it. So he gives the place back to Levi King. It was a big move and hopefully trying to get that one pulled off, but not on this occasion. But into the last lap, Oliver Hodgson has a 0.83 second advantage over Joe Turney. He's clearly looked after his tyres to perfection. Meanwhile, Butcher's going to try on Levi King, hasn't got the space. And as they go through Cafe Corner for the last time, we're looking for a couple of choice overtakes. But it looks to me as though everybody is settling in for the long road home. As out in front, Joe Turney is unable to deal with Oliver Hodgson. He's still got that advantage as Morgan Porter tries to close up. The top 3 are in the top 3, but crucially, it's Hodgson who is going to take some big psychological game plan points off the 2 men ahead of him in the title. But behind him on the road, Oliver Hodgson takes the checkered flag here at Shenington. That's the way to do it, Oliver. Joe Turney in second place from Morgan Porter in third. Then Rory Hudson and Thomas Turner from Levi King, the 6th position in number 6. Sean Butcher in 7th. Derek Morgan fights back to 8th place. Good result from him there. 9th position for Saul Robinson and 10th for Ewan Wilson. Then it's Armstrong, Malin, Rundqvist, Stansbury, Pennell, Jackson and Ibrahim from Laws, Brown, Morris, Tillett, Douglas, Ganem, Long, Luck, Siddle and Perez. So 13 laps of racing, no retirements, everyone finishes, and the gap is just 16 seconds covering the whole field. That's Senior X30 and Super 1. Really exciting battles. So that's each of the first heats of the day sorted. Now to get back into the action for Honda Cadet for B and C groups.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
So, mighty exciting stuff then here at Shenington. It's all been pretty exciting for the Downforce UK live stream. A big thank you, although rather sadly, to Joe Shaw for letting us know what happened to Sam in that previous race. Unfortunately, Sam Shaw got a puncture after running over the rumble strip on the Bruno Ferrari chicane. It is easily done, unfortunately, and that's what cost him a chance to go for the victory. Devastating for Sam, but he is one of the talented drivers on the grid, the most talented, so he can fight his way back. So if there's any other messages and congratulations or well wishes that you have to send to anybody, if you're listening on the Downforce UK Spreaker stream, wherever you might be in the world, or here at the track, if you've got it on your little PAs in your team awnings, then do please let us know. Keep us up to date with what's going on, and we'll keep you abreast of all of the action. Jake Sanson here, live on Downforce UK and trackside on the Tannoy at Shenington Kart Racing Club. It's been a really exciting first round of heats so far. All 7 classes have now had their first heats, and despite a slight incident in the Honda Cadet at the end of the race, which involved Sasha Wiley and Maximilian Solarski, there's not been any major dramatic problems over the course of the day. I should point out that both of those drivers have had medical attention. Neither has been taken to hospital, which is obviously a very good sign, and I gather they probably would have done by now if that were the case. So clearly a little bit shaken and stirred. We'll let you know if we hear any other further updates, but there is nothing to be too concerned about, as both drivers have obviously been seen by the medical teams pretty quickly, who were on the scene very, very sharply. And now the racing can continue. And obviously, if it was any major serious problems, then we would obviously have curtailed the racing out of respect. So that is clearly not going to be the case. So the next up in the schedule over the course of the day is going to be the Honda Cadet, which will leave the gate in 2 minutes' time. Then we'll have the Junior X30 and Mini X30s for their next groups. Then, of course, TKM Extreme's B group will face the C group, who will race for the first time. Then we'll have Junior TKM, Ayami Cadet, Senior X30 once again, and then the Honda Cadet and TKM Extreme will close us out with the last race finishing just before 6 p.m. here, so still plenty of racing to come over the next 2 hours and a quarter, and it's going to be really exciting battles all the way here at Shenington Kart Racing Club in the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championship. Do tweet me at Jake Sanson if you get an opportunity. I'll try and get your messages out over the airwaves. Great racing still to come here at Shenington.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Around we go again then for the Honda Cadets. This time it is Group B versus Group C, the latter being their first heat of the weekend. So Mitchell Gibbons and Tristan Rennie take up residence on the front row of the grid from Dan Ginshard and Ian Nakamura-Berta. Ed Pearson and Sebastian Bloch are next in line from Lorenzo Cordell and championship leader Albie Rigby. Then Sonny Smith and Jack Plant, Jack Clements and Dan Parent-Smith, Ethan Simmons and Harley Horton, Darryl Taylor and Mikai Singh, Marcos Luzio and Neo Phipps. From Sasha Wiley, who is in the pits, so I'm assuming he has not taken up the start following his earlier incident. Alistair Cresswell, Sophie Kinghorn, Antonis Sofronio, Bruce Speakman, Zico Hopkins-Collis, Caleb McDuff, and Cameron Crockett. So the drivers now taking up their resident positions on the grid. Standing start, of course, for Honda Cadet. So let's see how they get away in this sole standing start grid of the weekend. No other categories will run standing start in the 2018 Super 1 Series Brigade. It's quite a wide berth that's given to them down the middle. The drivers are all now in the into position. The drivers slightly out of their grid slots as we get them underway. And now we're ready for the start. It's going to be a pretty rapid one as the drivers get themselves underway. It will be a very quick getaway from the front runners when we get themselves up to speed. The lights will be on, and when they go out, we're racing. Oh, it's a very, very fast start for the pole sitter. Now, is that a jump start for our pole sitter? I wonder if it is, because that looked like a very hesitant start, but Mitchell Gibbons has got away into the lead, and it's quite a clear advantage. So I wonder if Mitchell Gibbons has he jumped the start there or not? I don't really know, because I couldn't see the lights from my position, but certainly looked to me as though he got away slightly sooner than the rest of the field. Now, was there a hesitation, or was that just a particularly slow getaway? Not entirely sure at this early stage. But anyway, the 81 Mitchell Gibbons has got away out in front. Second place looks like a cracking start from Kian Nakamura-Berta, who has come up into second position initially, the Japanese driver. But in there is Rennie, Ginshard, Pearson, Bloch, Rigby and Cordell. They're all in the mix. So we'll see as the drivers come through this time by. Over the line, Mitchell Gibbons in front. He's got about a second on the rest of the field. Not quite, in fact. Then it's Kian Nakamura-Berta, Sebastian Bloch, Then it is the E-plate of Tristan Rennie, and then Alfie Rigby. Really exciting start then from the Scotsman in 4th place. Rigby is 5th from Ginchard. The championship rivals are 5th and 6th on the road. This is going to get interesting. A very spicy race in the offing then. As Gibbons leads from Nakamura Berta, Block, Rennie, Rigby, Ginchard, Pearson, Caudle, Smith, Clements, Plant and Singh. And as they come through the Bruno Ferrari chicane this time by, there's a couple of jostles for position. But no catastrophes on this second lap around the circuit. Fastest lap of the race thus far, of course, is... Oh, actually, I was going to say it was Mitchell Gibbons, but it's not. It's Alfie Rigby, who is the fastest in the first sector. Fastest in the second sector is Kia Nakamura Berta. And as they come through this time by, over the line, it's going to be an interesting one again, as our race leader is now Kia Nakamura Berta. Mitchell Gibbons is down to 3rd. Make that down to 4th. Alfie Rigby's charged through. And now Ginchard's charged through. So Gibbons is down to 5th position. Now, I wonder, has Gibbons slowed up in the possibility, knowing that he might get a penalty, so has slowed up and decided to hand back positions? Now, if that is the case, Gibbons may be able to avoid a penalty. I'm not sure what the ruling is going to be on that, but it looks to me as though Gibbons he obviously had a massive lead and has now slowed up by appearances from the outset to get himself down the order. He's now in 5th position. Make that 6th, actually, because up the inside comes Dan Ginchard. And the 81, Mitchell Gibbons, has indeed been given a warning flag. Now, I'm guessing... Oh, I don't actually know what that's for. Is that for the jump start, or is that for a track limits offence? I'm not sure. But now he's down to 7th place, as through comes Tristan Rennie into 6th place. Caudle is 8th. Then it's Smith, Plant, Clements, Phipps, Singh, Simmons, Lucio, Parent-Smith, Horton, Taylor, Cresswell, Sofronio, Kinghorn, Speakman, Hopkins, Collis, McDuff and Crockett. So only the one non-starter, courtesy of the earlier incident, Sasha Wiley, has not taken up the start of this one. And we have a new leader. It's Sebastian Block. Sebastian Block has gone into the lead of the race with Alfie Rigby towing in pursuit. Kin Nakamura Berta in 3rd, and 4th is now Dan Ginchard, as we know. 5th position, Ed Pearson from Rennie and Gibbons. I think Caudle is trying to get himself in a 7th position now as well. Lorenzo Caudle doing a fine job there in the number 20, pushing his way forward. So Block is your leader, no problem at all. Rigby in 2nd from Nakamura Berta, Ginchard, Pearson, Rennie, Gibbons, Caudle, Smith, Clements. Up to 10th place now from Jack Plant. And up the inside, oh, 2 cars spin together. That's Jack Plant and Neo Phipps. They spin together at Cafe. They looked like they went off together, but I'm not sure whether there was initial contact to cause it, or whether one spun and the other one slammed on the brakes to avoid it. I didn't see the start of that. Only saw 2 cars spinning in unison. So the New Zealander, Sebastian Block, is your race leader at the moment from Alfie Rigby and the Japanese star Kia Nakamura Berta. Dan Ginchard is 4th from Pearson, Rennie, Gibbons, Caudle, Smith and Clements, with Jack Plant and Neo Phipps once battling for 11th place, now spun out at Cafe Corner. They resume down at the back of the field. So Sebastian Block comes back onto the park straight, over the start-finish line, and with him, very much in pursuit, is the championship leader, Alfie Rigby, looking for a late lunge up the inside. Textbook. Absolutely brilliant. And Ginchard's going to get there as well. Block's going to run wide, and through to 3rd goes Ed Pearson. Rigby leads, Ginchard 2nd, Pearson is 3rd, and Sebastian Block goes all the way back to 4th place. And there's a problem. There's a mechanical problem for the 78 of Cameron Crockett. Crockett's got a difficulty there, and it looks to me as though he's going to pull off on the run to the hairpin, as diving up the inside to get back the position is Rigby, because Ginchard has taken the lead. So Ginchard has taken over possession of the lead of the race. So the battle between the championship rivals, 1 point between them, is definitely all guns blazing. And is this going to be the weekend that Ginchard takes the lead of the championship off Alfie Rigby? A good performance in the first heat, currently ahead of him in the second. So this is going well for Ginchard. Rigby in 2nd, 3rd is Pearson, 4th is Mitchell Gibbons. Well, what goes around comes around. He's there in 4th position. So Gibbons has got himself back up the order. Now the question is, if Gibbons were to make up the places once more and get himself into the lead of the race, would he be able to get away with the victory still intact? Because obviously he gave up positions at the jump start and has dropped his way back and fought himself back in a position. So I don't know what the ruling would be on that one. But Sebastian Block is all the way back in 8th position now. Block is all the way down the order. So the New Zealander clearly lost a massive amount of ground when Rigby and Ginchard got through, because he was down to 4th. Now he's down to 8th position by my maths. When he comes across the line, it could be even worse than that. Rigby back in the lead. Ginchard 2nd. Gibbons is now 3rd. Up the inside, battling for the lead and not making the move. Kian Nakamura trying to get through into 3rd place on Mitchell Gibbons, and he had to bail out of it. Both of them survived the corner without losing a place. So Gibbons in 3rd, but there was a little wheel tap there from Nakamura, and if he'd have committed to that move, that would have been illegal, but he backs out of it just in time. So no harm, no foul. Ginchard right on the back of his main championship opponent, Alfie Rigby, as they battle for the victory in this one. Oh, up and over the curbs. That was somebody in the mix there. I think that was Sonny Smith going over the curbs. Now, the last person who did that with such ferocity of speed was Sam Shaw. So I'm rather hoping that's not going to be his race over. And we do have another retirement. That is the 33, sadly, of Alistair Cresswell. So Cresswell is out, unfortunately. I think that's his car parked up at the Bruno Ferrari chicane, actually. Rigby and Ginchard still battling for the lead. Gibbons, Nakamura and Pearson very close in behind. Then it's Sebastian Bloch and Tristan Rennie battling over 6th position. Great racing everywhere you look in this field. Honestly, I'm running out of directions because there are some supreme battles. Simmons is battling with Clements and Singh in 8th, 9th and 10th. Sonny Smith is down to 11th after all that, so it was him running over the curbs there at Bruno Ferrari chicane, but he's all right for the moment. As diving up the inside, goodness me, that was a late lunge. Who made that move? I think that might have been Jack Clements, actually, getting the move on Ethan Simmons. A very late move there into the Bruno Ferrari chicane, but if that was him, he made it stick. Then it's Horton in 13th from Parent Smith, Luzio, Kinghorn, Taylor, Phipps, Plant, Safronio, Hopkins, Collis, Speakman, McDuff, and then the retirements of Cresswell, Crockett, and the non-starter Wiley. The top 4 are absolutely nose to tail. Then behind the top 7, oh, there's contact! And that is unfortunately the 22 getting caught up with the 16. Harley Horton on the back of Mikai Singh. Mikai Singh shakes his fist at the 22, but I'm afraid to say for Harley Horton that was just bad luck. He made a move, it didn't work, and unfortunately his bumper caught onto the back of the 16 Mikai Singh, so he didn't shove him off on purpose at all. He just, unfortunately, the nose cone tangled up with the rear bumper, so that's a real problem for both of those drivers. They ended up getting impeded there, but totally not intentional from Harley Horton, just an accident, unfortunately. And Mikai Singh shaking his fist in frustration, totally understandable, but not a malicious move. So Alfie Rigby and Dan Ginchard, 1 and 2. Nakamura back up to 3rd place. Gibbons has slipped back to 5th behind Pearson, and then comes Bloch and Rennie. 7 carts dueling for the lead in Honda Cadet. Some great battles still to come in this one. I can sense it, even though we're on the last lap. This is where it's going to get serious as Rigby, Ginchard, Nakamura, Pearson, Gibbons, Bloch and Rennie are going to battle for the victory. Ginchard tight in with Rigby, looking for a good exit out of the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Back onto the hanger straight. Looks to me as though Gibbons has fought his way back into 3rd position. There's only 6 of them though. Where's the 7th? Who's come off at the hairpin? We'll find out shortly. But Rigby is going to try and hang on in front of Dan Ginchard as they come out of the final hairpin. Ginchard has tried his best. Is it going to be enough for the victory? The checkered flag is out and the win goes to Rigby. It's Mitchell Gibbons who got spat out at the hairpin, sadly. Rigby wins it from Ginchard. Nakamura in 3rd position. Nakamura Berta in 3rd place. Bloch is 4th from Tristan Rennie and Ed Pearson. Sonny Smith is 7th from Ethan Simmons in 8th. Then it's Jack Clements, Dan Parent-Smith, Marcus Luzio, Lorenzo Cordell. There is Mitchell Gibbons in 13th. What a shame. Out of the running on the final lap. But at least finishes in 13th in front of Mikai Singh and Harley Horton. They'll have a bit of a crossword, but Harley can only say, I apologise, I didn't mean to do it on purpose, mate. Neo Phipps and Jack Plant. Then it's Darryl Taylor, Sophie Kinghorn, and rounding out the top 20 is Antonis Safronio. And then the last finishes in Cruz Speakman, Zico Hopkins Collis, and the struggle from Caleb McDuff, although he will be back to his best in the next race. Honda Cadet is done for the 2nd time out of 3 for their 2nd and final heat of the day. It is now up to Junior X30 to provide the action.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Well, it's definitely been action-packed in the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. For those listening at home on the Downforce UK Spreaker application, it's been absolutely fantastic battles. We've got the Junior X30 about to come back out on the circuit, and it's basically the reset button for Clayton Ravenscroft in the hope that losing a massive amount of positions in that first race is not going to ruin his weekend. He's back at the front end. Hopefully they've got that problem that saw him not get away initially fixed so that he can get himself back up to speed again. But it was very, very pleasant and surprisingly sweet to see how many mechanics from different teams were trying to get him started up. It wasn't just the KR Sport mechanics, it was also a couple of guys from MLC and Fusion that were trying to get him started up again. They didn't want to leave him sat in the pits. And I have to say, that is incredibly sporting when the other mechanics had no reason to assist an opponent at all. But hey, that is the kind of camaraderie you can sometimes find in the Super 1 Series paddock, and it's great to observe it and great to see it. If you've got any messages, if there's somebody in particular that you're wanting to shout out for or cheer on to the victory here this weekend in Super 1 at Shenington, do please get in touch with us. You can tweet me at Jake Sanson, or you can type your message in the Spreaker chat box. We've already had a message from Joe Shaw, who let us know what happened to Sam Shaw in the earlier race. Unfortunately, he ended up with a puncture. So, as I mentioned, if you're listening around the circuit or if you're listening via your Spreaker applications, then do, of course, please let me know what's going on and keep in touch. I'm on at Jake Sanson on Twitter, as I mentioned, and we've got just under 2 hours of race action still left to come here. So, do please keep on with the listening. There's plenty to come and still great racing. Huge big up to Rob Wellham, who is listening away out on Twitter when he's not in the kart. So massive thank you to you and to everybody else who is listening. Just trying to keep up to date with everything that's going on. But Junior X30 is going to be back out very shortly, and it's going to be those two men, Clayton Ravenscroft and Luke Whitehead, battling it out for the victory once again, in the hope this time that Clayton Ravenscroft will be able to leave the pits in exactly the right position. The gate goes up and the green flag flies, so let's get back on the tannoy.
Once again then, Junior X30 is up underway once more, and this time Clayton Ravenscroft leaves the pits without incident, so he can take up his pole position alongside Luke Whitehead. Then it is Lewis Gilbert and Alex Lloyd from Caden McQueen and Tyler Reid. Reggie Dewey and Casper Stevenson with Nelson King and Josh Radican, Dragon Pinson and Oliver Gray, Will Ellswood and Oliver Behrman, Matthew Hudson and Jamie Mead, Lewis Thompson and Sam Hawthorne from Tom Edgar, Max Mear, Rufus Hunt, Sam Heading, Alex Lay, Shane White, Alessandro Serenetti, Teddy Pritchard-Williams, Douglas Bolger, Casper Skuzga, then Alex Moody and Axel Laflamme. So the drivers will charge their way forward. Once again, keep an eye on the likes of Axel Laflamme, Alessandro Serenetti, Shane White, Teddy Pritchard-Williams. They'll all be charging through from the back as they are out of position. Clayton Ravenscroft was out of position in race one. He's not this time. Away we go, and Ravenscroft hits the front early. Whitehead's lost his position to Gilbert straight away. It's KR Sport 1 and 2 already. They charge through Cafe Corner for the first time, and they're all through cleanly. It's a good start. The field is still nicely bunched as they get down to the hairpin for the first time. Will it remain clean as they go through that hairpin for the first time? So far, so good. I'm not seeing too much pandemonium in the distance, as it is Ravenscroft versus Gilbert, the championship opponents in 1 and 2. Then it's Whitehead in third position, trying to see if Dragon Pinson is able to make up a bit more progress this time. He was there on the 6th row of the starting grid, I believe, from original starting position. Yes, it was P11 off the original grid, but as they come across the line, it is KR Sport 1 and 2, Ravenscroft and Gilbert. Then it's Whitehead, Lloyd, Reid, McQueen, King, Stevenson, Dewey, Hudson, Radican, Gray, Behrman, Thompson, Dragon Pinson down to 15th at the end of the first lap. But everybody is through safe and sound at the end of the first lap, and there are no shenanigans, which is great news. So great driving continues on here as the battle continues. Ravenscroft still battling away there with Lewis Gilbert, and still the driving very, very close quarters. The racing charging forward as the competitors continue to do battle. Still a long way to go here, and they know it. This is only the end of lap 2. But Ravenscroft and Gilbert, the teammates and, of course, opponents in this championship, 19 points between them as they top the table. So they come through at the end of the first couple of corners of the lap. Lloyd is up to third now, having got past Whitehead. So can Alex Lloyd take on the KR Sport Brigade? Whitehead in fourth from Tyler Reid, then Nelson King, Reggie Dewey, Casper Stevenson, McQueen, Radican, Hudson, Thompson, Gray, Bierman, Pinson, Mead, Serenetti, Hawthorne and Ellswood, who is the leading rookie at the moment still. The top four breaking clear. Tyler Reid is trying to go with them in fifth position, but there is a little whiff of a gap between fourth and fifth at the moment as Whitehead tags onto the back of the Dan Holland Racing driver, Alex Lloyd, who is there in third place, right behind the KR Sport pair. The Englishman Ravenscroft, the Scotsman Lewis Gilbert. Both of them leading their championship campaigns in Europe. Gilbert trying to go for the move on his teammate Ravenscroft. Not going to happen. 1 and 2 in the Tuto Money Super 1 British Championships at Junior X30. Ravenscroft and Gilbert are 1 and 2 with Alex Lloyd on the rebound in third position, charging forward. Now into second place. That looks like Gilbert's come through to the lead. Ravenscroft's been shunted back. Fifth position. Now, I don't know whether he just ran out of road and got onto the curbs, but that was a big move up the inside from Lloyd. I think Ravenscroft was trying to take Lloyd back, actually, because Lloyd had already got through. Gilbert had got through. So Gilbert is now your race leader as he comes across the line. Into second has come Lloyd. Whitehead is third. Reid is fourth. Ravenscroft is fifth. Has he got damage? Well, Dewey's got through in a fifth place. Looks to me as though Ravenscroft is okay. But he certainly can't afford a puncher like Sam Shaw got. Goodness me, what a tough weekend this is turning out to be for Clayton Ravenscroft. Down to sixth position now. So in the lead is Alex Lloyd. Lloyd has got past Gilbert and Whitehead's got past Gilbert as well. So into first has come Alex Lloyd. Then it's Whitehead, Gilbert, Reid, Dewey, Ravenscroft. What a sensational battle this is turning into. We thought this would be nice and easy. And actually, it's Ravenscroft who's given a warning flag there. Now, that's surprising. It's not usually Ravenscroft who gets a warning, so maybe just desperation trying to get back into position. As Reid now puts Gilbert down to fourth. So Reid is through to third. It looks like KR Sport are beatable after all. Into the lead has come Alex Lloyd. And it looks like if it stays like this, it's going to be 2 wins out of 2. Oh, Whitehead's through. And so is Tyler Reid. So Alex Lloyd into third place now. But Luke Whitehead has got out in front. And there's one driver now currently being left behind. That is very sadly Teddy Pritchard-Williams, who's had a miserable second stint. So Pritchard-Williams in the second sector has clearly had a bit of an off and dropped back down the order. So it's Whitehead leading, Tyler Reid second, then it's Lloyd, Gilbert, Dewey and Ravenscroft. Next up in the list is the 95 of Nelson King, then it's Stevenson. Rufus Hunt, by the way, has dropped down quite a long way on that last lap as well. Looks like the 27 has had a disappointing run on that last lap. I didn't see where he was in the queue, but I think he's just slotted into 27th in front of Sam Heading and Max Meir. But as they come through, it is Lewis Gilbert trying to fight his way back into the podium slot with Whitehead, Reid and Lloyd in first, second and third at the moment. Although I think actually that looks to me like it could be Alex Lloyd having got himself back in his second place. Chasing down Luke Whitehead. Let's double check as they come across. Yes, it is. Lloyd into second in front of Gilbert. Then it's Dewey. Reid is trying to fight back. Next in line is Ravenscroft. Oh, this is going to be incredible stuff. And the 87 of Bierman has a little bit of a wrestling match with Sam Hawthorne on the way out of Cafe Corner. It was more wrestling with the steering than he was battling bumper to bumper, but a good little scrap nonetheless. But it looks to me as though there's going to be a retirement. Yes, into the pits comes Teddy Pritchard-Williams. Unfortunately, I think it's game over. That is a real shame. But what of the race lead? Oh, Jamie Mead has disappeared from the fray now. So Jamie Mead, I think, has retired from the race down at the hairpin. Meanwhile, Whitehead has got Alex Lloyd all over the back of him. And through to third comes Reggie Dewey. Great move from Reggie Dewey. That's a brilliant bit of driving from Reggie to get into P3 up the inside of Lewis Gilbert. And Tyler Reid still trying to shake off Clayton Ravenscroft. So all sorts of battling everywhere you look around the circuit as the drivers continue to move their way forward. Now the latest driver to be given the warning is Jamie Mead, although he has actually come through. So clearly an issue with the transponder on that last lap. but he has come through, so he's not out of the race. That is good news. So the drivers continue on as they tussle for position, but Luke Whitehead, Alex Lloyd, Lewis Gilbert and Reggie Dewey are still our top four, although now Reggie Dewey's come up to second. So Reggie Dewey's made light work of Alex Lloyd, then it's Gilbert, then it's Ravenscroft. What has happened to Tyler Reid? He's gone down behind Lewis Thompson, who is behind Nelson King in 6th position. So Ravenscroft is 5th, Gilbert is ahead of him, then it's Alex Lloyd in 3rd from Reggie Dewey, and Luke Whitehead is your race leader, but not for long if Reggie Dewey's got anything to say about it. Oh, Reggie Dewey's really getting on with this now as we've got less than a minute to go. Into Hanger Corner, through the right flick, down to the hairpin. Will there be a bold move into the hairpin? Not yet. I think Reggie Dewey's going to try and set him up for a run into Cafe, but he's going to need to be pretty swift through the first corner. Whitehead's already moved to cover him, so this is a good bit of defensive driving from Whitehead, and now there is a massive long train from Whitehead in the lead, down to Caden McQueen in 11th, and it's Whitehead, Dewey, Lloyd, Gilbert, Ravenscroft, King, Thompson, Radican, Reid, Stevenson and McQueen. Then it's Gray, Dragon Pinson 13th from Behrman, Ellswood, Mead, Hudson, Serenetti. LaFlamme is up to 19th, and then it's Shane White in 20th as this train is a big battle for the lead, and that's a spin in the mid-pack. Now that looks like Casper Stevenson. So Stevenson has gone around, and I'm not sure who's gone with him. I think it's Tyler Reid. Oh dear, Stevenson and Reid. Somebody had to get spat out of those 11 carts, I suppose, when they were so close together. And as we go into the last lap, Stevenson and Reid are down the order as a big move at the inside. Ravenscroft's gone into 4th, past Lewis Gilbert. So the championship leader's taken it. Oh, it's contact in the Cafe corner. That is the O-plate Axel Laflamme, who's gone over the top of Alessandro Serenetti. These guys are 5th and 6th in the championship. Oh dear, Axel Laflamme and Alessandro Serenetti have P5 and P6 in the championship, and they have come together at Cafe Corner. Meanwhile, the leaders are still duking out for the victory, and it looks like there's a big lunge from Ravenscroft round the outside of the hairpin. Is this going to be an opportunity to get into the top 3? The checkered flag is out, and the race winner is Dewey. Dewey's done it from Lloyd. Reggie Dewey is victorious. Alex Lloyd 2nd. That's going to give Reggie Dewey a massive grin. Reggie Dewey in front of Alex Lloyd and Luke Whitehead, with Ravenscroft 4th, Gilbert 5th, and in 6th place, the 79 of Lewis Thompson. Then it's Nelson King and Josh Radican from Caden McQueen and Dragon Pinson in the top 10. From Oliver Behrman and Jamie Mead, Oliver Gray and Will Ellswood, the leading rookie. From Matthew Hudson, Casper Stevenson in the mix as well. Well, there's a really exciting battle on the racetrack. There's a couple of very annoyed drivers at the end of the race, I think, as well. But what an exciting race that proved to be in Junior X30, the last race of the day for them. They'll be back, of course, for more action tomorrow. But outside the top 10, as we mentioned, it's Oliver Behrman from Jamie Mead, Oliver Gray and Will Ellswood, Matthew Hudson and Casper Stevenson, Tom Edgar and Rufus Hunt, Alex Lay, Casper Scusa, Sam Heading, Alex Moody, Douglas Bolger, Sam Hawthorne, Shane White, Max Mear and Tyler Reid, with rather sadly retirements from Alessandro Serenetti and Axel Laflamme on the last lap, and Teddy Pritchard-Williams on lap 8. Wow, what an exciting race, but not for everybody for the right reasons. But a really interesting battle now between the teammates, Ravenscroft and Gilbert, who at least are able to grin about it after the race. But there's lots to come tomorrow, no doubt, as we now go from Junior X30 into Mini X30 once again.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Well, there were some truly exciting battles in that one, weren't there, listeners? Listening in on Downforce UK today, are you being spoiled? Some really great racing here from Shenington, some thrills and spills. There were almost more warning flags in that one than there were overtaking moves. It was exceptional battling through that one. Mini X30 up next. Now, so far, this is heaven sent for Josh Rowledge, who has started his weekend exactly as he wanted to with a win. And chiefly, his main rival, Ivan Lomliev, finished the previous race in 7th position. So this is a really exciting battle to come. Some good performances in that previous race as well from Josh McLean in particular, and Jess Edgar, who really rose to the occasion in that last race. So good to see Jess Edgar not be given a victory on a penalty, which of course is how she won the final at PF International, but fighting for the victory on pure skill and merit, totally deserving of a top 3 position in that first race. Aaron Walker resilient in his determination again in that previous Mini X30 race, and good to see the new boy Ian Aguilera mixing it up there with Lomliev and Rashan Chigarimbo, who of course are in the top 3 in the points. So lots of things to be pleasant about and very positive about as well. And good to see so much spirited competition in the paddock. If you've got any messages for our Mini X30 drivers or any of the other competitors that you're cheering on listening in from home, then do please get in touch with us. There is obviously plenty of opportunity. You can tweet me at Jake Sanson, or of course you can send us a message in the Downforce UK Spreaker chat box. Just send a quick message to us and we'll get them read out. Anything we aren't able to read out for whatever reason today, we will make a note of, and of course get back into the action with any messages that you might have for first thing tomorrow morning when we go on the air at 9:25 tomorrow, which is going to be the Honda Cadet Repechage. We'll do a short broadcast first thing in the morning for the Honda Cadet and TKM Extreme Repechage, and then of course there is a drivers parade at 10:15 tomorrow morning, as well as all of the finals. So plenty of action to come tomorrow, and it's going to be quite an early finish actually, considering how things have been over the last few meetings, because the last final of the day is due to kick-start at 40 minutes past 3, so we could all be done and back on the M1 again in time for 4:30, including podium ceremony, if all goes according to plan. So any messages you have and any support that you want to send out, do please send it. We'll try and get all those messages to the drivers as the weekend progresses. We're about to go back on the tannoy once again, because the gate is about to raise, the green flag is about to fly at the end of the pits for the start of the Mini X30 next heat, and it's going to be a cracker if the first race is anything to go by.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So away we go once again for Mini X30. It is an absolutely sensational performance that we've got in front of us. I'm really excited about how this is going to work out, because there's so much to come from these guys in the rest of the mix. And there is so much still to come. Josh McLean and Josh Rowledge from that front row of the grid. Aaron Walker and Ivan Lomliev on the second row from Ian Aguilera, Jess Edgar and Rashan Chigarimbo. So basically it's business as usual, and exactly as it was from the previous race. So now these 7 cars in position around the circuit once again. It's not going to be the busiest grid, but it's definitely going to be one of the most frenetic races. Race 1 was a very tasty preview of what we've got to expect in this one, and we should expect fireworks. We'll see some great racing from these guys once again. Engine revs rise, and we're racing straight away. Cracking start from the front for McLean and Rowledge, but it's Rowledge unable to get through past McLean this time. Lomliev squeezes in behind Aaron Walker once again, and the 2 Fusion drivers, Jess Edgar and Ian Aguilera, bang wheels through Cafe Corner. Neither of them come off the road, but Rashan Chigarimbo gets a front row seat of it as they go through. Joshua McLean still leading the way then in front of Josh Rowledge as they go down the back straight. Aaron Walker is right in there in 3rd position, staying with them. And this time, Walker looks like he's going to give a challenge to Josh Rowledge early doors, with Jess Edgar already having fought her way past, looks like Ivan Lomliev down the 5th position. So Edgar looks as though she's got straight on with this and is up into 4th place. She is absolute lightning around this course. So they come back into position out of the final hairpin and into the first corner once again. McLean there in front of Rowledge, Walker, Edgar, Lomliev, Aguilera and Chigarimbo. They go past my position once again, and Josh Rowledge is lining up Josh McLean. I think he's going to make the move into the hairpin this time. He looks pretty comfortable and planted. So if he's going to continue his sort of pace that he's on, I think there's going to be a change of lead. Is there? Not quite. But Aaron Walker's lost third position for the moment to Jess Edgar, who again is flying. She just loves this Shenington circuit. Racing appears to be better than qualifying for her. Fastest in the first sector. Fastest in the second sector. Jess Edgar has come alive this weekend. 5th in the standings coming into this weekend. She wants to leave in the top 3, doesn't she? Really great work thus far. McLean in first, Rowledge in second, Edgar in third, Walker in fourth. Then it is Aguilera in front of Ivan Lomliev and Russian Chigarimbo. Lomliev is really struggling today. The man who ties for the top of the standings. Can't quite see what it is that he's struggling with so much. Fastest lap of the race, though, currently, Jessica Edgar, 44.69. Although the next fastest is actually, certainly was Aaron Walker for a short time. Edgar closing up on Josh McLean because Rowledge has got into the lead of the race now. And Edgar's already getting onto this with Josh McLean in second place. Can Edgar find a way through in a second? Well, Aaron Walker's getting in there as well in third, fourth position. So as they come off the turn, this is going to be a great tussle for the top 4 as Aaron Walker tries to sweep round the outside of Josh McLean into Park Bend and then into Cafe Corner. But at the moment, these 4 have broken clear. Aguilera in 5th, and then Lomliev and Chigarimbo, 6th and 7th. And still no joy for Lomliev at the moment, who is struggling even to hang on to 6th place in front of Rushan Chigarimbo. Both of these 2 title contenders are struggling as Jessica Edgar hits the front here at Shenington. She's gone through past Josh Rowledge at the hairpin, and now she leads. But Rowledge is coming back for more as McLean is trying to shake off Aaron Walker. But Jess Edgar is absolutely lightning here at Shenington. She has taken up the mantle and run with it. So into the lead has come Jess Edgar. Josh Rowledge in second place, third position. A good run from Josh McLean. In fourth place is Aaron Walker. Then it is the 72. Still a good run then from Ian Aguilera. Russian Chigarimbo is now in front of Ivan Lomliev, and it's still not able to keep up with the top 5, those 2. So Edgar leads the way. Rowledge in second position. Can Rowledge come back at Jess Edgar? At the moment, he is certainly setting off after her. Out of the chicane. And Jessica Edgar leads the way. She's doing a grand job in front of Josh Rowledge. Second position. He's swarming all over the back of her as they come up towards the hairpin at the end of the lap. Through the right-hand sweep. And then back onto that left flick onto the park straight. Jessica Edgar defending beautifully here, not needing to do too much hard work in front of Josh Rowledge, just knows where to position the car. And it looks to me as though Josh Rowledge has bailed out of an overtaking move and is now trying to work with Jessica Edgar to get away from Josh McLean and Aaron Walker as they battle over third place. So this could be a little bit of cooperation from Josh Rowledge, could be exactly what both drivers need to have a chance of winning the race without it being taken from them. But certainly this is getting tougher and tougher to predict because Jess Edgar's got Josh Rowledge breathing down her neck. But Rowledge is not going for the move. She's plenty okay at the moment in the lead of the race, and Rowledge doesn't seem too fast. But Jess Edgar is the fastest card on the racetrack, a 44.431, although fastest in the first sector is now McLean. Fastest in the second sector is now Ian Aguilera. And interestingly, he has now gone fastest of all, a 44.42 for Ian Aguilera, chasing after Aaron Walker. Chigarimbo's getting away from Lomliev too. Real struggles for the Coles Racing driver Ivan Lomliev this time. I can't quite see where this pace has disappeared. The first 4 meetings he's been absolute lightning. Through the Bruno Ferrari chicane, and Josh McLean is definitely reeling in Edgar and Rowledge a little more now. McLean looking stronger than these 2, faster than them in the first sector. Not as quick in the second, but we're talking hundredths here. Aguilera is again fastest in the first and second sector. The Mexican has got bags of confidence after that first run, and now Aguilera wants a piece of this, and he's charging after and Walker. He's through. He's past Aaron Walker. So into fourth place has gone Ian Aguilera. We're so busy focusing on Edgar, Rowledge and McLean. There's now 3 fusions fighting for the win because Ian Aguilera is absolutely storming around this track. 44.24 from the Mexican. Keep an eye on Aguilera. He is reeling in the top 3 as Rowledge hits the front once more. That is perfectly timed, really, because he needed to get that done sooner rather than later with a third wingman for Fusion getting into the mix. So second is now Jess Edgar. She's still working her magic to get into second position. Can Jessica Edgar get herself back into position in front of Josh Rowledge? For the moment, Rowledge leads. Edgar's second, McLean third, and Ian Aguilera is making mincemeat of them, closing up in fourth. Then it's Walker, Chigarimbo and Lomliev. So Edgar's got some support from JM. Josh McLean in third position. Blue helmet, white letters on the back. Very distinctive, Josh McLean. Very old school as he charges his way forward. Looking for the chance to move up into second position if he gets the chance. And Edgar's back into the lead. That's perfect for the team because now they've got a chance to box Rowledge in. But McLean is not quite close enough to make the move. Is Ian Aguilera going to pick up the bait and go for third position? As up the inside, Edgar continues to defend. Is there a gap left open by Rowledge? Not really. So there's still a chance for McLean and Aguilera. And as these guys continue to squabble, Aaron Walker is getting another opportunity here. He's back in a fifth position and he's back on their tail. A big slide from Walker, but their battle up front is still keeping him in the mix. Fastest in the first sector again is Ian Aguilera. He is absolutely rocketing. 44.17 now from the Mexican, who apparently has gone through in a third place. I didn't see that. But yes, he has. McLean is now down to fourth. So Ian Aguilera is now in third position. His first ever weekend in the championship, and he's running in third. Aguilera is definitely the man to keep an eye on. He was a pretty good cadet, but here in Mini X30, he is rising to the occasion as a rookie. Can he repeat the feat of Jacob McComb and win it as a rookie in 2018 as Josh Rowledge takes the lead into Park Bend and gets past Jess Edgar? Ian Aguilera's right there in third from McLean and Walker. Chigarimbo and Lomliev are still dicing over sixth place. But now we're watching to see if Aguilera can make a move on Josh Rowledge for second position. Oh, he has done it. That's Rowledge. I think, no, my apologies. Rowledge is back through into the lead. And Edgar still in second, getting some cooperation from Aguilera. Might be able to force the issue on the inside of Rowledge, but Rowledge is holding on big time. Is Aguilera going to get the chance to move in his second place? Oh, I think Aguilera got crowded out. Or was that Aguilera through into second place? It was. Aguilera's into second place. Can he take on Rowledge now on the last lap? Rowledge, Aguilera, McLean, Edgar, Walker, Lomliev now through in his sixth in front of Chigarimbo. But can Ian Aguilera, the Mexican, the rookie, in his first weekend in the championship, can he grab a win off Josh Rowledge? He's going for it. Up towards the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Rowledge is defending. Perhaps a little too much. Aguilera's got a good run off the chicane. There might be a chance. Aguilera's going to look for it. He's so strong into this final hairpin. Can he make it move? He's up the inside. Is this going to be for the victory? I think there's no question in it. Aguilera cannot be denied. The Mexican has done it. Ian Aguilera has won on his Mini X30 debut. His second ever race in the class at national level in Britain. And the Mexican, Ian Aguilera, has done it. In second, it is Aaron Walker. Walker has come through second. What a result for Walker. Great patience there from Aaron Walker to get second on the dais. Now, I don't think Josh McLean came across the line. No, he didn't. McLean was off for the final turn by the look of it. So, there's only 6 finishers. It's Aguilera from Walker and Rowledge. Edgar in 4th, Lomliev in 5th and Chigarimbo 6th. McLean, it looks like, got spat out on the final turn. And Josh McLean is out of the race. So, a very dramatic end to the race there with just the last corner tripping up McLean. I didn't see what happened, unfortunately, because I've got motorhomes and barriers in my way, obstructing the view. But it looks to me as though Josh McLean's race ending just before the finish line, incredibly close to the finish line as well, by what I can tell. So there's going to be a bit of a clean-up job for McLean's kart. But, wow, Ian Aguilera has blown us all away here. 3 different teams in the top 3. Fusion Motorsport for Aguilera, Kato Motorsport for Aaron Walker, and Strawberry Racing for Josh Rowledge. What a race. I love Mini X30. And next up, we've got the second of 3 heats for TKM Extreme. I need a breather.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So just to keep you up to date with what's happening over at the Downforce UK feed, just to let you know that there is basically a clear-up job happening at the moment up at Hanger Corner. So in fact, it wasn't even at the final turn, my apologies, it was at the Hanger Corner bend that Josh McLean is basically getting some medical attention, we understand. So wherever he went off on the circuit, I'm guessing on the approach to Hanger Corner, I'm guessing things got very close in for the drivers there, and it looks like he got spat out at that point. I've not had any news of any developments for Josh McLean at the moment, but I can tell you that the medical team is there already, and they are already giving their expert care. So at the moment, I wouldn't hazard a guess that there is anything too major to be concerned with, although Josh McLean obviously is receiving medical attention from the officials, but we just need to go through the correct protocols here, folks. Let's not panic, let's keep calm, and obviously we need to make sure that all of the protocols are adhered to, which is exactly what the team are doing. And with a kart stopped out on the circuit on the final lap, it makes perfect sense for the medical team to spring into action just to make sure that all of the correct protocols are carried out. We've got the race coming up next for TKM Extreme, which is the 11th race of 16 today. So there are 6 races to come after this one. There is potential for a slight delay from this one, of course. If that does appear to be the case, then what we will do is we will take a quick pause in proceedings and we will restart the feed. So if we suddenly stop broadcasting, then do please make sure you stick around. Just hit the refresh button, reboot the feed, and there will be another live broadcast shortly after. But if there is due to be a few minutes of pause, then it makes sense that we allow the officials to get the job done professionally, so that they can obviously move forward and we can get the meeting restarted. The race should have started now for the TKM Extreme, but obviously with this pause there could be a few minutes delay, so I'll just keep you posted. And I can tell you that already the ambulance has moved away, which is obviously a very good sign indeed. So it's now away from the scene and going back to its position, so I would estimate that Josh McLean is already very much in good hands and getting the attention he needs. The kart is coming back, so that would already hazard a guess that it's a positive sign that we're going to get the race meeting back underway very shortly. So a slight scare, but it looks like nothing more than that, so we can continue on with racing in a couple of moments' time for the second of 3 heats this weekend of TKM Extreme. Do tweet me at Jake Sanson or message us on the Spreaker chat if you've got any messages. TKM Extreme is next up here at Shenington on Downforce UK.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Rises, the green flag flies, and yet again Pete Newman needs assistance getting the kart up to speed as he leaves the pits. So clearly they have a bit of an issue with their starter motor, as it appears does Kyle Sprunt in the 26, who is trying to get the kart up to speed and now finally get some power. A very interesting start to the race then for both of those two, as a few drivers leave the pits a little bit behind as well. But for Heat 2, it's Group B versus Group C in TKM Extreme, so it's Pete Newman versus Chris Whitten, Rob Wellen versus Ryan Cole, Harry Moore and Theo Heskin, Matt Goldsmith and James Pashley, Zach Bowen and Ross Deal, Carl Sproat and Lewis Wadley, Lee Whittingham and Joe Fowler, Matthew Morton and James Whittaker, Gavin Pitt and Colin Morris, Reese Cullen Jones and Jack Darton, Amy Duke and Alex Lemon, Megan Lawson and Alex Reese, and then Nathan Wells and Austin Monday. So the drivers are getting themselves warmed up on this formation lap, and I think we'll just about be able to have a race start. It took a couple of the drivers a little bit late in getting to the grid. Are we going to be sent around again? Yes, we are. We're going to be sent around again. So I think the last few drivers on the grid were not quite in position as a result of a bit of a late start. So they will go round one more time, and I think that's the sensible decision, really. You can always rely upon the drivers to you can always rely upon the officials team, who have been absolutely fantastic here at Super 1, and so far this weekend already some very exciting battles, courtesy of the guys who have been absolutely brilliant. And of course, Chris Allen, who is the gentleman in front of the start line, doing an absolutely fantastic job of calling the situation as he sees fit. And of course, we have the clerk of the course, who is battling away there with the elements, making sure that we're in final gaming. With this team of people, you've got the likes of Ken Potter and Alan Bryant looking after things in proceedings. And some absolutely terrific work from all of the stewards and the marshals around the circuit. There's been absolutely terrific work from everybody thus far, and we're only in day one of the weekend. So I'm sure that it's just going to continue to get better and better as things progress and continue. Now the drivers are getting into position, and we're away on racing. That's much more like it as Pete Newman hits the front. Not for long though. Straight through to that first position, but comes Rob Wellham. A cracking start for the 51, and Harry Moore runs off the grass, gets back onto the circuit again. But that was a very scary moment, and now there's grass on that racing line as they go through the Exeter Cafe corner, so they'll have to worry about that on the second lap around the circuit. But there's an absolute barn dance down to that Bruno Ferrari chicane now, but it's Rob Wellham who's got a terrific start and has launched himself into the lead of the race. And there's an off at the cafe corner. That is the 77 of Alex Rees, unfortunately. So the Welshman has got himself going again, but he is now down at the back after a bit of a spin there. And it looks like someone else has gone with him and spun off into the pit lane. Well, that is very dramatic. That looks to me like Amy Duke. So Amy Duke has spun off the circuit and has gone backwards into the pit lane entry on that first lap. And also out of the race is the 41 coming into retire of Colin Morris. So Colin Morris, Amy Duke and Alex Rees are all retirements at the end of the first lap. Well, that is a very dramatic end to the race for those three. But Amy Duke is obviously still in the kart, sat in position at the final turn, at the cafe corner, in the pit lane entry, facing the wrong way. So she has clearly had an incident there, I'm guessing, with Alex Rees and maybe a couple of others, and spun the car in backwards. Meanwhile, the race leader is Rob Wellham, in front of the 7 of Chris Whitton. Then it's Newman. 18 is Theo Hesketh. Then it's Goldsmith, Moore, Cole, Sprout, Pashley, Deal, Horton, Bowen and Whittingham. Terrific racing in the opening stages of proceedings at the moment as the drivers continue to battle away. And we are still very much in the war zone at the moment as the drivers are still racing away for position. They come off the turn again through Bruno Ferrari chicane. There's a couple of good overtaking moves coming in the midfield as drivers are still getting themselves into position. And it looks to me as though Amy Duke is being walked across now from her kart to the medical team, who will just give her the once-over. And fortunately, she can be walked back to the ambulance, which is just beside the track at where she had the off. So the race is not even going to be stopped. So Wellham and the 7 of Whitton, Hesketh and Goldsmith are now into 3rd and 4th in front of Newman. The E-plate has tumbled down to 5th position, but there's still time to make up the ground. There's some really interesting racing at the latter stages of the day as drivers are starting to get a little bit more insistent that they've got a race to win. Some absolutely intriguing racing at this point. They come up the far side, and your race leader is still Rob Wellham at the moment, although Chris Whitton is right in there behind. Looks like he's got a good run, actually, Whitton, so he's going to go to the right-hand side in the hope to switch across to the left-hand side for a good overtaking move. But Wellham is not able, or Wellham is not going to give him the space. Whitton is still right in there. Goldsmith is now 3rd in front of Theo Hesketh. Then it's Cole, Newman, Moore, Pashley, Ross Deal up to 9th, Sprout up to 10th from Whittingham, Matthew Horton and Austin Monday, who's come up from 26th to 13th. He's charging his way through. A great run this from the rookie Austin Monday, who's already made up 13 places off the grid in just 4 laps. Then it's Bowen, Fowler, Wadley, Whittaker, Pitt, Cullen Jones, Darton, Wells, Lemon and Lawson. Alex Reese has got going again, as we know, with Morris and Duke, the first retirements. But what a day this is for Joe Fowler. Considering how dominant he was at Lark Hall, this is a very tough battle for him now as he fights his way back up the inside of Harry Moore. Great move from Theo Hesketh. So Hesketh squeezes by, and also so does James Pashley. Great dueling between those two, but Pashley was always going to get the way to come by Harry Moore as a result of that duel. And in 5th position now, Hesketh, Pashley in 6th. Moore squeezed down to 7th in front of Deal, Newman and Sproat. So Pete Newman is now down to 9th position, struggling not to lose more places. But it's still Wellham and Whittam at the front of the field. Wellham is your leader, Whittam in 2nd place, and there is nothing between them, absolutely nothing. Again, they come across the line absolutely together. The gap is a tiny bit bigger than it was before, but it's still only about 400ths. 66 is now 3rd. That's Max Goldsmith in front of Ryan Cole. Then it's Pashley, Moore, Hesketh, Deal, Whittingham, Sproat, Monday. Newman down to 12th position now. What is happening to Pete Newman? His race is just suddenly getting away from him, and he's losing ground hand over fist. Meanwhile, Chris Whitton is still knocking on the door of Rob Wellham, who will not answer his call at the moment. Wellham versus Whitton out in front, still jockeying for position. Still Whitton is trying to make a way through, and still there's no joy. So they continue to fight. Great battle down the straight. Into the left-hander at Park Bend once again. Is there going to be a way through for Chris Whitton, this time? Up to 3rd place, though, has come Ryan Cole. Now wait a second. It looks to me as though, yes, for a moment, Chris Whitton did not come through on the timing beacon, but that's just a temporary glitch. I thought for a moment that something had happened and maybe he'd had a penalty, but not the case. Wellham still hanging on in front of Whitton. This is getting to be incredibly close. Here they come again. Now has he got an offside this time? Oh, Wellham squeezes Whitton down the back straight. Really exciting racing. Terrific stuff as now they come up to the hairpin. Wellham again is looking for a way to hold off Whitton, but Whitton is absolutely determined to keep him at bay. Whitton trying to come through on the inside of Rob Wellham as they come through. Side by side further back for positions. That's a great little tussle. As the 93 making good progress back through the field again. That's Jack Darton on the inside of Cullen Jones and Nathan Wells. So that's made up a couple of places on that lap. But out in front, it's still these two. Wellham versus Whitton for the victory of the race with less than a minute and a half plus 1 lap to go. And this is going to go down to the wire between these two. I don't see how Chris Whitton is going to be able to overhaul Wellham in this current form. Wellham is absolutely strong firm. He's not going to get through, is he? Not with Rob Wellham keeping his door firmly shut. He drifts across just enough in that first turn to stop any chance of the inside line for Whitton. Then as he drifts wide, he just cuts and sweeps back across before Whitton can even get alongside. He's so good at keeping Whitton at bay. Rob Wellham looking after this lead in incredibly mature fashion. Into the chicane again. And he's managed to get just enough of a gap to be comfortable. Having an attack at him from further back. Whitton ducks down. He's going to make the lunge on the inside surely this time. And he's there. Brilliant from Whitton. Chris Whitton. He came from a little bit further back this time on Rob Wellham. I think Wellham thought he'd done enough, but he was faster through the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Now he's got his way through, and with 2 laps to go, it's up to Whitton to hold off Wellham. This is now a very different race as they're going to battle away these two for position, but that move I think has given the guys behind a bit of ammunition, and they're going to start closing up. Ryan Cole has got a couple of tenths on Max Goldsmith, with James Pashley having moved up into 5th position, and these two battling away has now brought Cole and Goldsmith into play. Pashley's not far off. Then it's Whittingham, Moore, Deal, Sproat, Hesketh, Bowen, Monday, Horton, Newman and Pitt. And a great scrap. Really good battle further up the order as now these two are very tight in together. Can they make this battle continue into the final lap? Here we go. Into the inside line, Whitton defends Wellham. Wellham's going to try again. Cole is right in there for 3rd position. And then we've got Goldsmith and Pashley chasing them down. Keep an eye on Ryan Cole. He might be able to outfox them both. Down to the hairpin, they try one more time, and who's going to emerge in first position? Will it be Witten, Wellham or Cole? It's still Witten, but it's Cole now. No longer in second. Where's Cole down to fourth? It's Goldsmith. Goldsmith has moved into second place. What a run on the final lap from Goldsmith. So it looks to me as though Max Goldsmith is going to follow Chris Witten home after a brilliant race. Chris Witten takes the checkered flag and wins a brilliant victory from Goldsmith, Wellham and Cole. That was sensational. Goldsmith snatches second in the final lap from Wellham and Cole. Pashley is fifth, Whittingham is sixth from Moore, Deal, Sproat, Zach Bowen in the top 10. Then Austin Monday fights back to 11th from 26th and last on the grid. Great job from Monday. Gavin Pitt is 12th from Whittaker, Wadley, Joe Fowler 15th, Reese Cullen-Jones, Nathan Wells, Jack Darton, Megan Lawson, Alex Lemon, Theo Hesketh, and rather dramatically, Pete Newman, the E-plate, is down in 22nd place in front of Alex Reese, but Matthew Horton has not yet come through. So I think Matthew Horton ended up out of the race on the final lap. So a very dramatic race there in Senior TKM Extreme as it's known. What a sensational final battle that was. Really exciting stuff. And I've got to find the energy from somewhere to keep this up because we've still got another 5 races to go. The next one is Junior TKM, and these races are just getting better and better as time goes on. Junior TKM, over to you now. What can you do?
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So Max Goldsmith almost upstaging the winner after a fantastic final lap there in TKM Extreme. Really good to see him pull something that special out of the bag. 1 minute away now from the next race of the day, which is the Junior TKM second heat, and this will be their final heat of the day, of course, before we head into the finals tomorrow. So a really important race for these guys all round. They've got to keep up their pace and momentum, and incredibly exciting stuff from each of the competitors in the field. But great to see that these battles have led to some pretty exciting tussles in TKM Extreme. And the 24 Horton has finally brought the card home, but unfortunately the race was declared by the time he has brought it home, so he's not classified as a finisher, unfortunately. But the Junior TKM is about to get out onto the circuit. When the barrier and the flag flies, then we'll be racing once again. I gather there's just a little bit of recovery to do out on the circuit, as I think we have one more kart to recover from the far side of the circuit, although I think it's now pretty much all done and dusted as we wait to see the battle once again between Jack Nicholson and Abby Pulling at the front of the field in Junior TKM.
Let's do it all again for Junior TKM then, as it's Jack Nicholson and Abby Pulling from the front of the grid, with Oliver Richardson and Zach Oates on the second row once more. Spencer Stevenson and Ben Watson on the third row from Harry Yardley, Rose and Aston Wigley. Zach Taylor and Connor Kearney, who fought his way valiantly to third in race 1. Morgan Kidd and Scott Smith in the mix. Joe Harrison and Dan Butterworth getting more fortunes from this race than in his previous race. Archie Strong and Ben Higgins, Jensen Davis and Alex Page, Dan McKeown and Ethan Newsham, Harry Arthur and Louis Harvey, Dominic Kilmister, Oliver Stratford, Will Orton and Max Davies. And rather dramatically, Dan McKeown is a little bit late to the field. I get the feeling that as a result of that, he's actually going to end up causing a second formation lap. In fact, yes, indeed, there will be the green flag with the yellow cross across it, which means that we'll go round for another formation lap in Junior TKM, and the drivers know it. So they get the flag to go around one more time for a new formation lap. And so now the drivers are getting themselves up to braking tyre temperatures again, with Jack Nicholson having pulled off that fantastic qualifying lap it didn't all go according to plan with him in the first race, so he's got to now pull something a bit more special out of the bag in race 2 to reassert himself at that sharp end. But Abby Pulling having a great first race and putting herself right into contention for the victory at the sharp end of the weekend. Although I'd like to see what the guys in the mix can do to keep that race-winning demon at bay, because every time you give Abby Pulling the lead of the race, she's very hard to shake off. They come down the back straight once again, and now we are going to go racing this time as the field puts themselves neatly into position. Nicholson and Pulling, Richardson and Oates, Stevenson and Watson, Yardley, Rose and Wigley, Taylor, Kearney, Kidd, Smith, Harrison, Butterworth, Strong, Higgins, Davis, Page, McKeown, Newsham, Arthur, Harvey, Kilmister, Stratford, Orton and Davies in position around the circuit. And as they come out of that final hairpin this time, there's going to be some fireworks off the line, no doubt, as the drivers get themselves up to speed. Are we going to go racing? No, we're not. It was a bit too much of a leap from the front again there. This time, that was a false start from the leaders up front. I think Nicholson was just a little bit too eager to get us underway. Of course, it is pole position that dictates when we go racing. So that is now the third formation lap. And I think that's the first time this weekend that we've had 3 formation laps. So that's the break between races between Junior TKM and Army Cadet now gone. As the drivers again are sent around the circuit for their third formation lap. So the drivers in position once again. Jack Nicholson needs to be wary on the side of caution this time. The third formation lap. If we go into a fourth one, then what tends to happen in these circumstances is they tend to bring out red flags so that they can instruct the drivers what to do, almost as if they've forgotten. So the drivers are trying to tighten up. Nicholson is obviously quite nervous. I think this is his first pole position of the season. And obviously that includes the first race earlier on, I should mention, because he did start from the pole position earlier on as well. So now he's got to try and keep up his momentum, keep up his cool. Here we go. That time it's a clean start. Away we go. And Nicholson is going to hit the front straight away, and straight into second position comes the 23 of Oliver Richardson, who goes over the curb, manages to get the kart stopped into the turning point, so holds on a second place. That was just one wheel on the curb. That does unsettle karts from time to time, but this time Richardson keeps it nicely in contention in second place, with Abby Pulling still there in third. So it's exactly how the race started in the first encounter. Fourth place, a good start from Spencer Stevenson, teammate to Abby Pulling and the Talco Racing squad. So those two are still looking to march their way forward. Some cracking racing here in Shenington's Junior TKM category. And the warning flag comes out immediately to Abby Pulling. Goodness me. So the number 1 gets a very rare warning in this championship class. That doesn't happen too often. Up the inside, that's a move from the 6 of Zach Taylor to get on the inside of Spencer Stevenson. Has to yield. And it looks like Ben Watson's going to take the opportunity to come through. No naughtiness on that first lap. Everybody is through safe and sound, and the gap is 4.8 seconds from the front to the back. Here they come again, and Pulling's through to second. So Pulling has made the move on Oliver Richardson and into second position as they jostle for position in the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Many a great race battle has been seen here at Super 1 Series in Junior TKM at Shenington. And we're seeing some absolutely cracking racing once again as all the Army cadets have now come over to the gate to watch. They are absolutely enjoying this. Up the inside, Abby Pulling, one wheel on the curb and storms through to the lead. Wow, that didn't take long. Lap 3 and Abby Pulling has hit the front. She's just got so much pace in this class. She loves the Junior TKM and just seems to be at one with it. Brilliant performance so far from Pulling, who now leads once again. No, she doesn't. Straight back into the leaders come Nicholson. I'm not letting you have it this time. Back into the lead. Oh, and a spin. A spin of Bruno Ferrari chicane as drivers pick their way through. Now, who is that? That looks to me like the 13, I think, that's gone around in the mid-pack. Actually, I'm not sure if we have a 13 in the mix, so that might be the 19. Oh, no, it is the 13. That is Archie Strong. So Archie Strong looks like he's come off there in the Bruno Ferrari chicane and spun the car. So back down, unfortunately, to the back of the grid comes Archie Strong. And the number 6 of Zach Taylor has been given a warning there. So rather unfortunate for Archie Strong, who gets going again, but there's big damage to the nose cone section of the kart as Nicholson continues to lead Pulling. But Abby Pulling has decided, well, I'm not going to jostle away with you for position. I've already got one win in the bag. I don't mind sitting in second place. Let's disappear and get away out in front. With the attitude potentially being, I might just overtake you later if I feel like it. So Nicholson controlling the pace of this race. Pulling in second position as they go through Park Bend into Cafe Corner and up to fourth place. Another strong move from Connor Kearney. Puts him in front of Aston Wigley. Now, hang on a second. I'm trying to do the math here. I think that's Connor Kearney who's got up into fourth place in front of Aston Wigley. So Richardson has gone down behind both of them. So Richardson has tumbled down to sixth position. At the line, he was fourth, but they were both on the inside of him there. So unfortunately, that is Richardson down from fourth to sixth in a heartbeat as Kearney goes up to fourth in front of Aston Wigley. And in behind Zach Oates, the E-plate, who again is taking the fight to the two drivers up front. Nicholson and Pulling trying to stretch out the lead. Oates in third, Wigley fourth again. So Kearney down to fifth once more. Sixth is now Ben Watson. Here comes Morgan Kidd up in behind Dan Butterworth. So Watson is now fifth in front of Kearney. Then it's Richardson, Butterworth, Kidd and Stevenson. Terrific racing from Morgan Kidd, who's in the top 10 again on merit. And here comes Pulling on the back of our race leader, Jack Nicholson. Morgan Kidd has got Spencer Stevenson behind her. Two rookies having a good run, but Morgan Kidd has got the better of Abby Pulling's Talco Racing teammate. As the leaders come through, Nicholson and Pulling still dueling away for victory here at Shenington. The championship leader in second place to Nicholson, looking pretty confident. They're getting away as Wigley has now gone into third. And so too has Connor Kearney up to fourth past the E-plate. So E-plate is Zach Oates, then it's Watson, Richardson, Butterworth, Kidd and Stevenson. Yardley Rose is 11th from Higgins, Harrison, McKeown, Taylor, Smith, Page, Stratford, Davis, Orton, Davies, Newsham, Kilmister, Arthur, Harvey and Strong. Pulling still, tucked up behind Nicholson for the lead of the race. 600ths of a second between them at the line the last time by. Nothing in it, but they are stretching out the gap to Aston Wigley in third, up to 1.9 seconds. So plenty of time still to kill. This is going very well indeed for Abby Pulling out in front, getting away from all her championship opposition, with Jack Nicholson not really in the fight for the title. Third position, Wigley is holding Connor Kearney at bay. The E-plate, Zach Oates is still very much in possession of the top three if he can get there. Nice duel further back as up the inside, that's Scott Smith making the move on Joe Harrison, and it sticks on the Exeter Cafe. So some good overtaking moves in the top field and in the midfield as well. But Connor Kearney is back in a third place on Aston Wigley. Yet again, as these two swap positions, they're just allowing the leaders to get away. But I think that's inevitable now. 2 minutes and 2 plus 1 lap on the clock. And the gap is over 2 seconds between Abby Pulling in second and whoever it is that's currently in third. I think it's Connor Kearney. But you never know until they come around. And there's Aston Wigley up the inside to prove the point. Into Park Bend, he takes third place. Fifth is still the E-plate of Oates. Then it is Richardson, Butterworth, Watson, Kidd, Stevenson, Yardley Rose, who's just in front of Ben Higgins. Then it's McKeown, Smith, Harrison, Page, Stratford, Taylor and Davis. Some absolutely terrific racing as they come into the S's once again. Jack Nicholson and Abby Pulling off the turn. They go down the back straight. Is this a chance for Abby Pulling? Well, it's a bit too far away from the finish yet. She wants to wait until there's definitely 2 laps to go and then make a decent passing move for the position over the line. And there is currently 1 minute 10 plus a lap. So Nicholson still allowed to run in the lead by Pulling at the moment. Kearney there in third in front of Wigley. The gap is now over 2.5 seconds between Pulling and Kearney in second and third. But Kearney's got his own problems. That's Aston Wigley trying to come through. Wigley in the mid to come into third place from Oates in fifth. Richardson, Butterworth, Watson, Kidd, Stevenson. And then a bit of a gap back to Yardley Rose and Ben Higgins, who have started dueling for their respective positions. In fact, that looks to me like they're going to still continue that move on. In fact, I think that's Morgan Kidd having got past Ben Watson now. So Kidd has got into 8th place. Good run from Morgan Kidd. She is ever improving, and two top 10 positions are definitely going to do her championship score no end of good as Abby Pulling makes the move. Abby Pulling takes the lead into the first corner as Oliver Stratford receives the warning flag. Pulling makes her move and picks her moment. It's nearly 3 wide further back as the E-plate Zach Oates has lost the place to Richardson and is now fending off Ben Watson and Dan Butterworth. But Morgan Kidd has well and truly dropped Spencer Stevenson. Watson trying to come back past on Butterworth. Nicholson trying to get back on terms with Abby Pulling. But Pulling has made the move at the right moment and now the gap is growing. So Pulling has a couple of kart lengths if she can hang on through this final turn and get on the power quickly. I think she should put it to bed. But Nicholson in second place will be very happy with that. Frustrated that a win couldn't come, but second is still going to give him a great start to the weekend, although he's going to try and come right round the outside of Pulling. Tuck back for the inside on the exit of Cafe. Not done yet then, so Pulling is still trying to shake Nicholson off. Let's not forget Nicholson was quickest in qualifying, so he's very quick over 1 lap. If he's looked after the tyres enough, he's still very much in the contention for the victory. And he will have a try for it. Side by side, Pulling hangs on in the chicane. So Pulling continues as they go down the back straight. This is a good run from Nicholson, trying to chase down Pulling. Can she defend? Into Hanger Corner. Up to the hairpin, he's trying to come through, but round the outside, Pulling is going to send him there. That will do. Job done. Abby Pulling is the winner. Abby Pulling has done it again, but only just from Jack Nicholson as we've gone and off on the final lap. It's Joe Harrison. Joe Harrison is up the bank on the approach to the Bruno Ferrari chicane. So it's game over, I'm afraid, for Joe Harrison on the final lap. And, well, what has happened to Dominic Kilmister as well? So Kilmister has not come through on the last lap. So I think that's both of them, isn't it, out of the race. So unfortunately, it looks as though we've lost both Joe Harrison and Dominic Kilmister on the final lap. Actually, it's 2 separate incidents because Harrison's gone off on the approach to Bruno Ferrari chicane and Kilmister's kart has come off on the exit of the final hairpin. So 2 separate incidents there. And a bit of a delay, unfortunately, then, as we get ourselves ready for the next race, which is Iami Cadet. We've got 2 karts to recover, so a bit of a pause in proceedings before we get back into racing from Iami Cadet. But Abby Pulling wins from Jack Nicholson, and yet again in the top 3, it's Connor Kearney.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Well, fortunately for Joe Harrison, he's managed to get his kart back to the pits after that little hiccup, but Dominic Kilmister has not been quite so lucky yet, but he's only at the final hairpin, so I would suspect it wouldn't take him too long to bring it back to the paddock. In fact, looking at the way that they are positioned at that end of the pits, I would not at all be surprised if they've already lifted the kart over the barriers and just recovered it to the inside paddock already, because that is quite close to where the junior TKM drivers are stationed anyway. But Iami Cadet are the next ones up, and it's already been a pretty ferocious battle, with Will McIntyre taking the victory by 7/10 of a second in the first race. So definitely the man on form. Will McIntyre is looking to close down the gap to the 2 drivers for Oliver Rowland Motorsport, and his form so far is lightning. So at the moment, Oliver Rowland Motorsport is going to need to pick up its game just a little bit. Arvid Lindblad and Max Dodds, first and second in the championship coming into this one, but leave it to Arvid and Max. They know what they're doing, they know how to fight their way back. Will McIntyre needs to keep an eye on this one. Right, second row of the grid, we'll see Sam Short and Maximus Hall. Maximus Hall, so impressive this weekend. Really good to see him there in the top 6 on merit. Freddie Slater and Max Dodds, Brandon Carr and Vinnie Phillips, Harley Keeble and Alfie Baxter Davies. Lots of talent in this field, but it's not going to be long before they get to go out on the rolling lap. Any final messages towards the latter stages of the day? There's only 4 races still to go for Army Cadet, Senior X30, Honda Cadet's third heat and T-Game Extreme's third heat. If you have any messages for the drivers, now is your chance to get them in. If for whatever reason they're not read out over the live stream, don't worry, we'll make a note of them and make sure that they're all in there ready for tomorrow. But some really exciting battles already this weekend, and there's just more where that came from with the way things currently stand. Some truly spectacular battles for the remainder of the day, and it just keeps getting better. There's more and more intensity to these races as the proceedings continue, but with 4 races to go, it just looks like it's going to get better and better and better as the weekend progresses. So I'm sure we're going to see some truly exciting racing for the remainder of the meeting. But then, of course, there's only 4 heats left. There's repêchages tomorrow morning for just the 2 classes, Honda Cadet and T-Game Extreme, and then the finals tomorrow. Make sure you're around for that. We go live at 9:25 tomorrow morning, so do stick around and make sure you tweet it out, share it with as many people as possible. Super 1 is about to get explosive here at Shenington.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Welcome back to the action here at Shenington. It's going to be amazing racing once again from my Army Cadet for their second and final heat of the day. Really exciting battle. Arvid Lindblad and Will McIntyre on the front row. From Sam Shaw and Maximus Hall. Emma Hall from home rights. Come on, Max the Gladiator on the Spreaker chat. 4th position on the grid. Let's see if he can crack the podium. Freddie Slater and Max Dodds on the 3rd row. Brandon Carr and Vinnie Phillips on row 5, sorry. Then it's Harley Keeble and Alfie Baxter Davies, Leo Robinson and Archie Clark, Luke Watson, Ashton Hodgson, Harley Horton and Charlie Rippin, Ollie Wright and Ella Stevens, Fionn McLaughlin and Bart Harrison, MJ Canini and Hadi Mamasi, Luke Sintler and Edu Robinson, Gabriel Stilt, Harry Jr. Burgoyne, Sebastian Weldon, Max Barrow and Aidan Neat. They come out of the final hairpin, nicely in formation. I think we're going to get a clean start straight off the bat. Engine revs rise, we're getting into the action once again, and it's a good start. Straight away, we are into the action, and Arvid Lindblad takes an early advantage from Sam Shaw yet again, just as it was last time. A gentle nudge there in the midfield. I didn't see who it was, but Max Hall has got past Will McIntyre, who puts 2 wheels on the grass. A couple of wheels on the grass too from Gabriel Stilp at the back, so he's lost a bit of momentum, but a cracking start from Maximus Hall. I think that's put him into, I think that's 3rd, although Max Dodds did get a pretty sweet start as well. But Sam Shaw is once again up into 2nd position initially because Freddie Slater is up at a 2nd place. Do not count this boy out. Absolutely terrific charge forward from Freddie Slater. And it looks as though one of them has had a spin on the first lap. Now, who is that that's down the order? It looks to me like one of the ORM kids, actually. Now, that is potentially the 70... Oh, I'm not sure it is. It won't be one of the... ORM boys if it's in the 70s. That might be Luke Sintler, actually. We'll double check, but several drivers are down the order from where they started. And it looks like Brandon Carr is the man in trouble. So, yes, Brandon Carr is down the order. So, too, unfortunately, is Edu Robinson. Robinson has dropped all the way down to the back. And Brandon Carr has come through, although he's in 28th place, so it was an ORM driver after all. And he can't get any steering off the cart at all by the look of it. So something is definitely wrong with the steering rack after a bit of contact. So I think, sadly, Brandon Carr's race is about to come to a premature end. That is a real shame. Arvid Lindblad leads the way. Freddie Slater's on his tail. How long is he going to cope with being in 2nd position? The answer is not long. He's already into the lead. So Freddie Slater has hit the front here. Slater leads from Sam Shaw in 2nd. Then it's Maximus Hall. Goodness me, Arvid Lindblad's down to 5th behind Max Dodds. William McIntyre struggling in this one as well. He's down behind the 31 of... 31, is that? Of Alfie Baxter Davies. Yes, it is. A warning flag's gone out there to the 44 of the Canadian Hadi Mamasi. So, problems there. Now, where is Brandon Carr? Has he pulled off the circuit? I think he is still motoring around. But I think it's inevitable that he pulls into the pits, unfortunately, with some major damage to his kart. So, yes, indeed, Brandon Carr pulls it into the pits and is out. And that is a real shame. But out in front, it is still the battle for the lead we're keeping an eye on. Slater, Shaw, Hall, Dodds and Lindblad in the top 5. Shaw is really getting on with this now, right on the tail of Freddie Slater. He may get an opportunity to dive up the inside. Slater covers the move just enough to avert the danger. Dodds is there in 4th, Lindblad in 5th, up to 6th again comes McIntyre in front of Keeble. Then it is the new contingent at Fusion. Robinson in front of Baxter Davies. Robinson and Phillips have come together. So Baxter Davies and Horton have lost some time. So Baxter Davies and Horton seem to have slipped back now behind Robertson and Phillips, who were making some good moves there across the finish line. And it's the 2 Fusion guys that have now run in formation there. On a little bit of a jostle in the chicane, and 2 of them going off the circuit and back onto the racetrack via the curb. So there's a couple of drivers who have lost ground, and I'm not entirely sure who that was from a distance. Couldn't quite see, but it was definitely just in there behind the likes of Robinson and Phillips. It wasn't those 2, but it was definitely in amongst that crowd. Slater, Shaw and Maximus Hall, the top 3 at the moment. Then it's Lindblad in front of Dodds. It's time to unleash their secret weapon. 4th and 5th, they will go to battle in tandem. McIntyre, Keeble, Phillips, Robinson, Baxter Davies, Hodgson, McLaughlin, Neat, Ellis Stevens up to 14th now. Harry Jr. Burgoyne's up to 15th. So dropping down the order, it was unfortunately, it looked to me like Luke Watts and Harley Horton who have lost an awful lot of places. Charlie Rippon likewise. So several drivers impeded there at the chicane. Some great racing. But in the top 15, it is Slater, Shaw, Hall, Lindblad, Dodds, McIntyre, Keeble, Phillips, Robinson, Baxter Davies, Hodgson, McLaughlin, Neat, Stevens and Burgoyne. Back over the start-finish line will come our race leaders, and Freddie Slater is hanging on in front of Shaw and Maximus Hall. They're working together, these 3, to try and pull away from the ORM duo. They could definitely do with getting the points gap down. And McIntyre makes the move up the inside of Max Dodds, and through in a 5th position he goes. So a good bit of racing there as he comes up towards the hairpin this time by. Looking down into the pits, a real shame to see Brandon Carr out of the race. It's a real disappointment for him. Could have been a top 6 finisher in this one for sure. Slater still out in front from Shaw and the 3rd place man Maximus Hall. Lindblad and Dodds now separated by Will McIntyre. So McIntyre into 5th position. But it's still Freddie Slater with Sam Shaw looking for an opportunity to come through. If those 2 tangle, Maximus Hall, the Gladiator, is right there in 3rd place. So over the line they come once again. Sam Shaw's looking for an opportunity up the inside, but again, good defensive driving from the man in the lead of the race, Freddie Slater. Lindblad's got McIntyre working with him for a change. Dodds is falling off the back of the top 5. See, Dodds just for whatever reason doesn't quite seem to have the pace he's shown in the last 4 weekends. He's definitely got what it takes to be champion this year, Max Dodds, but certainly in the heats he is struggling to make progress. He's there in 6th position, and the top 5 is now a queue because Lindblad and McIntyre have caught up to Slater, Shaw and Hall. It's about to get interesting as they come through to the right flick of the hanger corner. And up towards the final hairpin, Shaw clearly realising, my goodness, I've got 3 of them all over me like a swat of flies. I need to get further forward now. I need to make this move on Freddie. Slater, get out of the way. And Shaw is going to try and make that window on the inside. It's not going to happen. And meanwhile, further back, McIntyre's made the move on Lindblad, who both got past Maximus Hall. So Lindblad clearly made the window of opportunity happen on Maximus Hall in the final hairpin. And then McIntyre made his bid for 3rd position in the same breath. So good racing from these guys as they continue to battle. So on the far side of the circuit, this is still a great little tussle as the drivers battle away for position out of the chicane. Sam Shaw all over the back of Freddie Slater. Will McIntyre in 3rd place. Can Sam Shaw get a good run on Slater? He's going to try into the hairpin once again. No space there. Freddie Slater making light work of things in the inside line of the final hairpin. Shaw's going to try to the right-hand side. Going to try and get the drag. Slater again is just ready for his every single move. It's almost as if he's got eyes in the back of his head. Meanwhile, Lindblad is giving McIntyre a little bit of a momentum forward. Maximus Hall is staying with them. Dodds is almost in touch. And the race goes on. A great battle further back. Vinnie Phillips in 7th from Keeble, Baxter Davies and Robinson. And just outside the top 10, it is Aidan Neat up from the back of the grid. He's up to 11th place, up 18 places, would you believe? As Sam Shaw goes for the lead. Sam Shaw goes for the lead in the Bruno Ferrari chicane, and I think he's got that one done. It's taken him a long time to get the opportunity, but there he goes and takes it. So Sam Shaw hits the front for the first time this weekend. And with this sort of pace, he may be able to stay there. Across the line. And Sam Shaw has got him back on the inside line. No, that's McIntyre through. That is McIntyre into the lead. Shaw's been a little bit unsettled by that. Slater's now going to try and get up alongside him. But Shaw slots back in a second. And a warning flag comes out this time for Harry Junior Burgoyne, who has now very sadly slipped out of the top 15. But that has promoted several drivers forward. So it's McIntyre now leading. Here comes Shaw for a move at the inside. No, Shaw's got it back. Shaw has got the lead back again. McIntyre and Slater are now working together in second and third. While that looks to me like Dodds is on the back once again of Arvid Lindblad. Has Maximus Hall dropped to 6th position, I wonder? It looks very tight between these guys in the top 6 now as they come across the line, but we have got 1 lap to go. Here he is, it's now or never, and Sam Shaw knows he's under serious pressure from McIntyre around the outside. He's going to try and keep the card split in on the inside. Great defence from Shaw. He keeps McIntyre and Slater at bay. That was absolutely brilliant from Sam Shaw. Any other driver would have lost his nerve and bottled it, but not Sam Shaw. Total conviction. Hangs on to the lead for the moment as they come down towards the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Is he still in front? Yes, he is, just for the moment. McIntyre still there in second. Slater has a look, but he has to hang back. Meanwhile, Lindblad and Dodds are in unison in 4th and 5th. They may be able to take points out of Fusion. If there's a chance to come forward, they're going to make it happen. But it looks to me as though McIntyre's lining up a move on Shaw into the final hairpin. Is he there? Shaw's hanging on by a thread. Can the one Strawberry Racing driver hang on to the victory? He's going to do it. Sam Shaw has taken the victory. Brilliant racing from Sam Shaw. That is one of the best drives in Army Cadet this season. And what a victorious moment for Sam Shaw. The top 4 drivers in the championship sniffing at his heels throughout. You will not wrestle this one from me, boys. Sam Shaw gets a great victory from McIntyre and Slater. 4th and 5th are Lindblad and Dodds from Maximus Hall in 6th position. A good run from him. Harley Keeble, Alfie Baxter-Davies, Leo Robinson and Vinnie Phillips in the top 10. Aidan Neat is 11th after a brilliant fight back from the back row. Archie Clark, a stonking good 12th. 13th for Luke Watts in front of Oliver Wright and Ella Stevens. Fionn McLaughlin, Ashton Hodgson, Hattie Mamassi, MJ Canini and Luke Sintler in the top 20. From Harry Junior Burgoyne, Charlie Rippin, Harley Horton, Bart Harrison, Max Barrow, the American Sebastian Weldon, Gabriel Stilp and Edu Robinson, with sadly Brandon Carr out after just 2 laps. What a race again in Army Cadet. There are 3 races to go. They come from, first of all, the Senior X30. And this is going to be a great trio of races to round us off. Senior X30 will have their second and final heat before Honda Cadet and TKM Extreme come out for the 3rd time of asking.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
2, 4, 6, 8. Boggin, don't wait. The green flag flies, the gate raises, and we're back into the action in Army Cadet. Not in Army Cadet, my apologies. It's still on the timing screen in front of me as such. It is the Senior X30, of course, that we have out on track now. Joe Turney and Oliver Hodgson on the front row. From Morgan Porter and Rory Hudson, Sean Butcher and Lewis Malin, Patrick Rundqvist and Thomas Turner, Ewan Wilson and Saul Robinson from Levi King and Jensen Brown, Matt Armstrong, Brad Pennell, Mo Ibrahim, Sam Stansbury, Henry Laws, Rashid Ghanem, Scott Jackson, Anna Morris, Jake Douglas, Derek Morgan, Alex Luck, Sky Siddle, Gregorio Perez, Kieran Long and Archie Tillin. So this is going to be a very exciting battle as the drivers continue to find their feet around the circuit. Still plenty to do and still plenty to fight for in this final reckoning of proceedings. And the drivers are up to the revs already, and it's a clean start, so let's get straight on with the action. Great start from the front of the field. Oh, and a big run wide there from the 72 of Saul Robinson. But Joe Turney is into the fray as they battle away for position in the lead. So turning from Porter and Hodgson is the top three at the moment. It's a cracking start in the middle of the brigade, so no major dramas for the drivers to worry themselves with at this precise moment in time. So really exciting battles throughout, and we're going to see some truly spectacular racing from these guys in the latter stages of the race. But even in these early stages, it looks pretty close quarters as they continue to charge forward. Some truly sensational racing, and it's only just getting started. There's still an awful lot to come from these guys, as they know just what at stake at this moment in time. But as they come across the line, it's turning from Porter and Hodgson, 4th place Hudson. Then it is the 32 of Malin. Butcher in 6th from Turner, Wilson, Pennell, King, Brown, Ibrahim, Rundqvist and Stansbury. A cracking start here at Shenington, and already some pretty sensational driving, as now the racers are back up to speed once again into the chicane, with potentially quite a lot of work to do from the front end of the field. Hodgson is having a look at Morgan Porter, who ducks down in the seat in the hope that he can make a little bit more inroads into Joe Turney at the front end of the chase. So as they come out of that final flick one more time, this is going very well indeed for our race leader, Joe Turney. At least it was! And now both Hodgson and Porter are through. Oh, Turney's got Hudson for company now in 4th position. Malin's on a run wide from Robinson. Robinson battling away there with the 18 of Scott Jackson. Both of them ran a bit wide. Robinson particularly so, right off on the runoff area or on the marbles out of Cafe Corner. Doesn't hit the barriers. Very easy to do from that point of the circuit, so a good recovery from Robinson. But this is turning into a real grudge match up at the front. Hodgson out front once again. Porter in 2nd, Turney in 3rd this time. Rory Hudson, Lewis Malin and Sean Butcher still all in connection. Turner, Wilson, King and Pennell left to fight over the scraps. Oliver Hodgson is your leader. Morgan Porter 2nd, Joe Turney 3rd. Through Cafe Corner once again. That magnificent buzz shows you just how hard the drivers are working out there today. Sam Stansbury is the fastest man on track at the moment, leading privateer, and is also the fastest man on track. Warning flag going out that time to the 18 of Scott Jackson. I'm guessing that was for his part in the Saul Robinson incident. So we'll see if he's able to get away with that incident from now on. Surely he will be. And Scott Jackson, as the leading rookie in the standings thus far, is one of the more talented drivers on this grid. Through that first corner, still line astern, 6 of them in the mix. Hodgson, Porter, Turney. Then it is Hudson, Malin and Butcher. The top 6 are well clear. 7th place is now Thomas Turner from King, Pennell, Wilson, Ibrahim, Rundqvist and Stansbury, who is gaining ground on them pretty rapidly. Jensen Brown's going with them. Then it's Laws, Armstrong, Jackson, Robinson, Luck, Ganem, Tillett, Douglas, Morgan, Long, Morris, Perez and Siddle. Some great racing, and it's going to be a good tussle for 4th position behind our top 3 as Hudson, Malin and Butcher are getting seriously close to each other. Warning flag comes out now for the 77. That's the Lebanese driver for M-Sport, Rashid Ganem. So clearly he has transgressed in some way. Through to the first couple of corners again. Hodgson's now got Turney behind him. Turney now in 2nd place. Porter's down to 3rd in front of Hudson, Malin and Butcher. Levi King in 7th place trying to make up some ground. Some good racing elsewhere. Couple of drivers have made overtaking moves on that last lap. Tillett's up to 20th past Ganem. Morgan's up to 22nd now past Jake Douglas. And Sky Siddle has made the move on Gregorio Perez up into 26th. So some good moves everywhere you look. Although Levi King is the big mover on that last lap up to 7th place, having got past Thomas Turner. Ewan Wilson did the same on Brad Pennell to move into 9th. But Joe Turney is now chasing down Oliver Hodgson once again. Can he get close enough to go for an overtaking move to get his weekend back on track? He's going to want to go for it with every fibre of his being. Oh, and there's a big accident and a roll out of the final, the second corner. That's Derek Morgan, who's gone off there with the 21 of Archie Tillett. Archie Tillett has rolled it, but he's on his feet. The cart has actually landed on his wheels, but that was a pretty dramatic looking incident. Archie Tillett clearly winded, but he's in a good enough position that I think they're going to need a quick check over by the medical team. Morgan is going to try and get the cart restarted and get into the race. So back into the action he goes. Archie Tillett is able to recover his cart to the safe position in the pits. But having rolled it, I would not be surprised if he gets a medical check for that. But they're made of strong stuff, these guys. But into Cafe, those two just tagged together. No, it looks like Archie Tillett is going to get away without a medical check. Goodness me, they're made of strong stuff, these guys. Either that or he's going to be called over just for a check. When you go up and over and roly-poly, then I think there really is only one course of action. And that is go and have a quick check over, just in case. But Oliver Hodgson is being caught by Joe Turney, little by little. Turney is gaining ground. Hodgson's your race leader. Here they come over the line again. Hodgson, Turney, Porter, Malin now in fourth in front of Hudson. Dropping back into the mix is the O-plate of Turner from Butcher and King. Then it is the 12 of Wilson in front of Mo Ibrahim, who is now the leading rookie. Stansbury, Pennell, Laws, Runquist, Armstrong, Brown, Jackson, Robinson, Luck, Douglas, Ganem, Morris, Long, Siddle and Perez, with Morgan in the mix there as well, but he's a long way back. I'd say a good 40 seconds or so off the race lead, and considering that the race lap is only 42.7 seconds for the fastest drivers, it's not going to be long before Morgan gets lapped by the race leaders. Here they come. Hodgson, Turney, Porter, Malin, Hudson. The 5 have broken clear at the front. Turner is trying to get some support from Butcher, King, and the 33 in there, I think that is of Mo Ibrahim, to try and work with him to go and catch the leading 5. 1 minute 12 left, plus the additional lap. Into the Brunner Ferrari chicane. Hodgson still in touch from Turney and Porter. The 32 in there is Malin in front of Hudson, with the O-plate in 6th position, still trying to gain that essential ground. Turner from Butcher and Levi King and Mo Ibrahim. But still they come off the turn again. And it's Hodgson with enough of an advantage over Joe Turney to be relatively comfortable, although that gap is still only 0.3 of a second, and it was over half a second at one stage. Number 5 is given the warning flag, so they've investigated that incident between Morgan and Tillett, and it looks to me as though they have decided to afford blame to the number 5 of Derek Morgan. Unfortunate, but it's even more unfortunate for Archie Tillett, whose race has ended rather dramatically upside down, and fortunately it doesn't look like without serious injury. So here are the leaders coming into the final hairpin once again, and Oliver Hodgson is running out of time. We're going to have 2 laps to go as he comes across the line this time, with just 7 seconds remaining on the clock. Hodgson, Turney, Porter and Malin trying to drop Hudson in 5th place. Then it's the O-plate of Turner, Butcher, King. Mo Ibrahim is now in front of the 37. No, Mo Ibrahim is down a long way. That's Wilson in front of Stansbury, then Laws. Mo Ibrahim has lost a few places. Not quite sure what happened there, but certainly a lot of time to make up. But Hodgson is your leader from Turney and Porter. Ducking down in the seat once again, your man Morgan Porter trying to gain ground on Joe Turney. I think 2nd place is the best you're going to root for, boys, because Hodgson has found a little bit more pace on that penultimate lap and started to get away from the 2 in 2nd and 3rd. Malin's looking quite threatening in 4th place as well. Turney's got to try something to close up on Hodgson as we're on the last lap of the last race of the weekend for Senior X30. Oh, sorry, the last race of the day for Senior X30. Out of the final hairpin come the midfielders as they continue to battle away, and up to the Brunner Ferrari chicane. Hodgson has this race in control. Turney's trying to hang on a second from Malin now. Malin's got past Porter, and it looks as though Lewis Malin's going to hang on a 3rd position, but Porter's going to give him a chance. Can Malin get in a 2nd position past Turney? The answer is no. Hudson tries to come around the outside of Malin, but Hodgson is your race winner. Oliver Hodgson continues his weekend in fine style with a victory. Turney in 2nd, Malin is 3rd with a great final lap surge. Morgan Porter has to be content with 4th in front of Rory Hudson and Thomas Turner. Sean Butcher in 7th place from Levi King and Sam Stansbury. Henry Laws and Ewan Wilson from Brad Pennell and Mo Ibrahim. Matt Armstrong, Patrick Renquist, Scott Jackson, Jensen Brown, Saul Robinson, Jake Douglas, Rashid Ganem, Anna Morris, Alexander Luck from Kieran Long, Sky Siddle and Gregorio Perez in front of the distant Derek Morgan. And sadly a retirement on lap 7 after that roly-poly collision with Morgan for Archie Tillett. A miserable weekend at the office, unfortunately, for the PFI driver, who is, of course, Oliver Hodgson's teammate. So that is the end of the day for Senior X30. There are just 2 races to go before we call it a wrap, and it's going to be a very exciting battle for certain from the next one, the 3rd race of the day for Honda Cadet, as Group A meets Group C for the first time.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
For the last time here today, it's time to rock and roll with the Honda Cadets one more time. It's going to be a very interesting battle. This is Group A meets Group C for the first time. Thea Makuras versus Tristan Reddy will be at the front of the grid. Archie Walker and Kia Nakamura on the second row from Ollie Greenall and Sebastian Block, Ryan Willis and Alfie Rigby, Ollie Stevens and Jack Hart, Dan Holdsworth and Dan Parent-Smith, Jack Hobson and Harley Horton, Leon Henderson and Nikai Singh, Aidan Lynn and Neo Phipps, Maximilian Samarski and Alistair Cresswell, Oliver Stewart and Antonis Sofronio, Morris Henry and Sika Hopkins-Collis, Jai Lawrence and Cameron Crockett, with Fraser Oram in the mix one more time as well. So the drivers are obviously standing start in Honda Cadet. The good news is that Maximilian Samarski is out there. So So I'm just hoping that earlier on we'll see Sasha Wiley out there for the racing tomorrow. Joined right from the start. It's a fast formation of the grid as well. The drivers have obviously got themselves very well prepared for this one. So it looks like we're going to go straight into the action without hesitation. The drivers will get themselves underway very shortly. The engine revs will rise and we'll go racing. It's a clean start already as Makuris and Rennie are going to charge for that first corner. Makuris using that inside line to good advantage, and Makuris takes the early doors lead, and through alongside with him it is the 91 that comes through. Archie Walker to second. So a cracking start for Walker as a lot of drivers again going a little bit wide there through Cafe Corner, and just a couple of them flicking up the grass as they come through. But at the moment, it is Makuris in front of Walker, Rennie and Nakamura, with Sebastian Bloch and Alfie Rigby definitely two drivers to keep an eye on as they charge their way further forward. Now, Tristan Rennie is currently in third place, in there behind Archie Walker. As the field gets through Bruno Ferrari chicane, no hesitations asked and no problems either. Oh, and there's a spin down the straight, or somebody going very slowly down the straight at least. So somebody's had an off on the exit of the Bruno Ferrari chicane and tumbled down the order. I didn't sadly see, I didn't see who that was in the initial run, but we'll find out who it is as they come across the line this time, as Makuris continues to lead, but up the inside comes Rennie to second, and a big lunge from Nakamura on the inside of Walker. Walker ends up falling in behind Bloch, who's now in fourth position. So the one who ended up losing a lot of time is the 48 of Aidan Lynn, unfortunately, who put his hand in the air to the spectators on the side as if to say sorry. So I think that might have been Aidan Lynn's mistake. He certainly seems to think so. Makuris leads, Rennie second, Bloch now third in front of Nakamura and Archie Walker, with a great little tussle for the top five already underway. Plenty of drivers jostling for position. Fastest of all in the first sector is Alfie Rigby, who I think is up to sixth place now. So Rigby trying to charge his way further forward. I think he might even have broken himself into the top five as they come through this time by Makuris, Rennie, Bloch, Nakamura. Rigby is in fifth. Walker is in sixth place. Here comes Bloch, trying to make a way through on the inside of Rennie. Didn't make the move stick. Greenell is in seventh behind Walker. Then it is the 42, of Ryan Willis. Then it's Plant, Parent Smith, Stevens, Henderson, Phipps, Holdsworth, Horton, Stewart, Singh and Salarski. Some great racing from Honda Cadet for the third time today. But Theo Makuris has a lead, and it's pretty sizable, actually. It's getting close to a second. In fact, I think it might be there now, because Bloch has made the move for second on Tristan Rennie, and that has held the field up somewhat in their battle for second place. So I think Theo Makuris may be about to grab a pole position for tomorrow's first final in Honda Cadet, because he's got himself a win from earlier on, don't forget, and now it looks as though he's going to do it again. They come through across the line this time by Makuris, continues his lead of 1.05 seconds. Bloch in second now in front of Alfie Rigby, but Rigby and Bloch will almost certainly work together to chase after Makuris. The field knits its way through Cafe Corner without too much difficulty. Ooh, two wheels on the grass there for the 21 of Dan Holdsworth. No major problem though, he doesn't even lose a position through the manoeuvre, just running a little bit wide, easy to do when you're a cadet. So into the Brunner chicane, right, left, Bloch and Rigby definitely working in tandem, right as they come down the hanger straight once again up towards hanger corner, that right flick hard on the power. The racing continues in earnest, and still there's a great battle throughout, and some truly spectacular racing from these guys as they continue forward. But Theo Makuris still leads, and his advantage was 1.05. How are these two working together? They have got the gap down, but the E-plate has been given a warning. That's Tristan Rennie, who has dropped back a little way, unfortunately, in there behind the 52 now of Jack Plant. So he's lost a few positions as, whoa, a couple of drivers in the midfield getting very sloppy on the way out of Cafe Corner. Not a lot of room to get it wrong, and a couple of drivers came very close to getting there. So the Bruno Ferrari chicane again sees Theo Makuris 0.89 of a second ahead now, because Rigby again is working with Bloch as they try to charge forward. Meanwhile, Nakamura, Walker and Greenell are working together in 4th, 5th and 6th as they try and get the gap down ahead of them. So 2 seconds roughly covers the top 6. A bit of a time gap back to Plant, Rennie and Willis in 7th, 8th and 9th, and rounding out the top 10 at the moment is Dan Parent-Smith, who is locked in a battle with Neo Phipps. The gap is coming down a little. Sebastian Bloch is 0.84 ahead now of... Sebastian Bloch is 8.84 behind Theo Makuris now, I should say. Up to fourth again has come Archie Walker on the inside of Keen Nakamura, who I think has also lost the place to Ollie Greenall. So I think that's Greenall through into fifth position. I'll double check as they come back into sight. But at the front, it is Makuris trying to lose these two, Block and Rigby. Round the outside, that's a great bit of defensive driving again from Archie Walker to stop these two, Nakamura and Greenall, having any inch of a way through into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. He's so good at just sweeping out of the outside apex and cuts across once again to just halt any whiff of an opportunity. So there's truly brilliant racing here in the Honda Cadets, and it always has been in this particular category. This season it has really risen to the occasion again. Championship leader, Alfie Rigby, trying to assist Sebastian Bloch in both of their efforts to move further forward. And that's a little bit of a rub there from the 94, making the move on the 16. So that was Leon Henderson getting past Mikai Singh. And Singh has already had a couple of nerfs already in here today. So I don't think he'll be too happy about that one. But the 94 has got through and taken the place. So that could be a warning going out. There is, however, a warning going out for the 33 of Alistair Cresswell, who's trying to make up time after his retirement from his first race of the day. It's a real shame to see him on the sidelines. Another youngster doing a good job in 2018 is Alistair Cresswell. Leaders come out of the final turn and come over the straight once again into that first corner. Park Bend, flat on the throttle in these karts. Keep it together. Block and Rigby are definitely getting the gap down now. 0.55 is the gap. This race is not won yet by Makuris, and he knows it. Then it's Walker, Greenall. Tristan Rennie is there in sixth position now in front of Kian Nakamura, with Horton, Willis, Phipps, Plant, Parent, Smith, Henderson, Singh, Holdsworth, Stewart, Salarski, Cresswell, Stevens, Safronio, Jay Lawrence. Then it is Henry, Hopkins, Collis, Hobson, Crockett, Oram and Lynn, who are still there in position. So here they come once again. A very strong performance at the moment from our three leaders, Makuris, Block and Rigby, but it's going to be a three-way tussle for the victory before very long. Now, if I'm Block and Rigby, I do not make the ultimate dive for the lead yet. I work with the race leader to continue to stretch out an advantage. Makuris is on his own here. Block and Rigby are gaining ground. Big star. The gap is down to 0.32. Now, if I'm Block and Rigby, I don't make the overtaking move yet. I just sit behind, although we have got 46 seconds plus 1 lap left. So it may be about the right moment, actually. They'll come across the line this time by, and it'll be touch and go as to whether they're going to get another 2 laps or another 1 lap, actually. And in the lead, that is Sebastian Bloch. Bloch has got through, and so has Rigby. So Makuris is down to third already. They decided to make the move in the hairpin. So Bloch is through to the lead. Rigby is through in a second, and I think that move will have delayed them enough that they will only get 1 more lap around the finish line this time by. It's going to be touch and go, but I think Rigby is now making his bid to get past Sebastian Bloch as well as they come off the turn. This is going to be a very close battle, actually, across the line. Is there 1 more lap? There is 2 more laps. And Rigby is the man in front now. Rigby is your leader. Second is Makuris. Third is Sebastian Bloch. So the battle is going to go right down to the death. Greenall, Walker and Rennie are in 4th, 5th and 6th from Harley Horton, Ryan Willis, Kian Nakamura, Jack Plant and Neo Phipps from Dan Parent Smith and Oliver Stewart. Here come the leaders into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Makuris is straight back on the horse, trying to chase after the number 8, Alfie Rigby. Championship leader Rigby trying to make up some grounds, while his main championship rival Dan Ginchard, who's had a couple of second places, I think, in his first 2 heats, will be watching on intrigued to see how Alfie Rigby gets on. A victory would definitely give Rigby a strong chance in the finals tomorrow. But here they come. Makuris and Rigby work again to get past Bloch as they go into the last lap. A bit of a slide from Rigby, but Makuris isn't close enough to capitalise. Still, it's Greenall up to 4th from Walker. And then the E-plate of Tristan Rennie. This has been a really exciting battle thus far. Great racing still as they work their way through the chicane, through the hairpin. And now the leaders are coming into the Bruno Ferrari chicane one more time. Round the outside, Sebastian Bloch's made an amazing lunge on Makuris. Oh my word. Sebastian Bloch just pulled out that move from somewhere out of the ozone. That is amazing. round the outside of the Bruno Ferrari chicane. The New Zealander, with nerves of steel, has got Makuris on the last lap. Alfie Rigby takes the No, he doesn't. Block has got the win. Block has got the win. How did he do that? Block has snatched it from Rigby on the final lap. What a fight back from the New Zealander. Sebastian Block punches big at the finish. Oh, wow. Rigby in second. Makuris in third. Greenall, Walker, Rennie, Nakamura, Willis, Plant and Phipps are in the top 10. Great fight back from Neo Phipps. Sebastian Block has just pulled off the move of the century with that one. From third on the way into the Bruno Ferrari chicane, he has leapt forward to the victory. Unbelievable. Horton in 11th place, from Parent Smith in 12th, Mikai Singh, Leon Henderson, Dan Holdsworth, Ollie Stevens, Oliver Stewart, Alistair Cresswell, Jay Lawrence, Morris Henry, Maximilian Solarski, Antonis Sofronio, Zico Hopkins-Collis, Cameron Crockett, Jack Hobson, Fraser Oram and Aidan Lyne. 23 seconds between them. They all finished on the lead lap and they all finished. Fastest lap, Sebastian Block. How did he do that? Absolutely astonishing. Just when you think you've seen the best from the O-Plate, he gets better. And that is a move that will certainly give him a big confidence boost heading into the finals tomorrow. I think his championship bid may be back on track. Absolutely exceptional from Sebastian Block. And now we get to watch one more race as the TKM Extremes go to battle in Group A and Group C for their last hurrah of the day.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
I don't mean to concern the TKM Extreme drivers out there, but I'm not looking so fond of those clouds overhead. This was about the time that we started to see rain yesterday, although it didn't actually rain during any of the sessions during yesterday's testing. But the clouds are definitely looking fairly ominous overhead here at Shenington, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they started to break in the next 15 minutes. The big question is going to be, will that be enough for the race to be over? Or will there be a little bit more to play? I think I spot Matthew Mangarino down there at the run to the pit lane. Haven't seen him in the karting paddock for a while. How's Formula 4 going, Matt? I'm sure it's going great. I've seen you've been winning a few races this year already, mate. Keep it up. National Formula 4 champion is your next goal. I'm sure you'll get there this year. Good to see you back in the karting paddock. Obviously not too far away from TKM Extremes, which is a championship where he has obviously done a great job in the past in TKM. So good to see the drivers battling away for position in TKM Extreme today. We've seen them in fine battle in 1 and 2. And now we're going to see them in the third heat as well. It's going to be Group A versus Group C for this one. And they'll be let out of the gate with the green flag flying in a very short moment as well. But it's going to be mighty close again in TKM Extreme. We've seen some pretty sensational stuff already, but Sam Fowler and Chris Whitton will start the contest for the front row of the grid with Christian Briley and Ryan Cole on the second row, Joe Reed-Smith and Theo Hesketh on that third row, from Josh Sheriff, the leading rookie and the leading privateer, alongside his colleague James Pashley, the 52, who's also a privateer. Louis Bevan and Ross Neal, there's the flag, there's the gate. Louis Bevan and Ross Neal on the top 10 row of the grid, the fifth row. Mitchell Ball and Lewis Wadley, then John Hogan and Joe Fowler needing to play catch-up. Championship leader coming into this weekend, Adam Sparrow's got to find something. James Whitaker alongside him, then there's Owain Rosser, Colin Morris, Matthew Ayres, Jack Darton, Joe Stockton, Alex Lemon, Isaac Marsh, Alex Reese, Lewis Rushforth, Austin Monday and Samuel Johns. So for the last time today, we get a formation lap underway in the Super 1 Series paddock. The 16th and final heat of the weekend for the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships in Shenington here in July 2018. Before we go into the two repêchages tomorrow, one for Honda Cadet and one for TKM Extreme. And And then the finals in each class, and that's going to be 14 races in total, the winners of which will be crowned of Shenington winners in Tuto Super 1 British Karting Championship Racing. So out of the final turn, Fowler and Witten, Briley and Cole, Reeve, Smith and Hesketh, Sheriff and Pashley, Bevan and Deal. What a cracking start! Up into the lead already, no problem at all for Fowler. Second position, a great start from Christian Briley. Joe Reeve Smith there in third position. Witten has dropped down to fourth place early doors. And as they go through the first few corners of the lap, no dramas and no major problems in the first chicane. So all is well and good at the moment into the Stratford hairpin and back down the runway straight. They will approach the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Sam Fowler and Chris Witten still towards the front end, although Witten is down in fourth position now behind Christian Briley and Joe Reeve Smith. So all of the drivers from that inside line gaining massive advantage there. First, third and fifth on the grid are now 1, 2 and 3. So Sam Fowler holding on to his advantage the way that Joe Fowler did at Lark Hall. So Sam Fowler looking very good indeed to continue his great run and continue to pick up the pieces. Some great racing continuing on here. Joe Fowler pushing on as they get their way far the side of the circuit. So Fowler is your leader from Briley, Reeve Smith, Witten, Sheriff, Bevan, Cole, Pashley, Hesketh, Ball, Hogan, Sparrow, Deal and Rosser. That's your top 14 at the moment. Some big gains already from Austin Monday, who's up 5 places on the first lap. Ayrton Senna, eat your heart out. And some good moves through the midfield as well, as more drivers are starting to make a bit of a comeback push. But out in front, no problem at all for the Jade Racing team. And Sam Fowler, who leads the way from Briley, Joseph Reeve Smith and Chris Witten, who fought his way so brilliantly for the earlier victory. He's going to have to do a lot more work than that. And he's already done it. Into second place. Reeve Smith's got past Briley too. Fifth place is now Josh Sheriff. A good start from him. But up to second already has come Chris Witten. So now he's got half a second to make up on the race leader. The fastest lap of the race has come from another of the Jade Racing drivers. That's Mitchell Ball, who's in ninth position at the moment. A 44.89. The second lap of the race is his fastest. And the race is fastest too. So through they come again. Oh, Joe Fowler's getting absolutely no joy out of this car. Just watching him in the midfield, he's really struggling to keep possession of the kart in the S's. Whereas Sam Fowler is cleaning up at the front end of the field. Warning flag though for Chris Witten. So clearly the way he got into second position is already being brought into question. Reeve Smith is third. Fourth now is Josh Sheriff in front of the 37 of Briley. Then it is then it is Bevan, then Cole, Pashley, then we have Mitchell Ball from Theo Hesketh. Adam Sparrow finally on the warpath is up to 11th. Wadley is 12th from Ross Deal. Then Owen Ross is ahead of John Hogan. Joe Stockford, Colin Morris, Austin Monday, and Joe Fowler slipping down to 19th place. This is a very dramatic turn of events. And, well, this is definitely not, I think, what they had in mind at this early stage of proceedings. But Joe Fowler really struggling here, whilst his teammate Sam Fowler is looking very strong. So Joseph Reeve Smith hanging on now in front of Chris Witten. Sixth in the points table thus far, Chris Witten. Lee Whittingham has already had his 2 heats, so he's watching from the sidelines in the hope that his point score is enough to put him in a good position. But this championship looks like it's going to continue to swing to and fro. Sam Fowler looks like he's going to get the most points from this weekend down in front, having already taken a race victory. Looks like he's going to get another one. Up the inside, that's a late lunge from Joe Fowler. A very late lunge, and it didn't work. So he's now lost momentum, and he's going to lose another place, sadly, to Matthew Ayres by the look of it. So everybody's through and safe at the moment. No major catastrophes, but the race lead is about to change hands, and in fact he has. Joe Reeve Smith is through, and so is Witten. So Sam Fowler down to third position. Josh Sheriff in fourth. Then it is Bevan, Cole, Briley, Pashley, Ball, Sparrow, Wadley, Hesketh, Rosser, Deal, and Colin Morris. Some pretty exciting stuff now as the drivers continue to tussle away. But is that another lead change? Well, no. Reeve Smith is still there in front of Witten and Sam Fowler. So those three are going to battle for the last 3 minutes and 40 seconds, plus 1 lap of the day's action here at Shenington. And I can see this one going down to a showdown in the last couple of laps. Really exciting battles and truly spectacular motorsport. Well, it's Super 1. We wouldn't expect anything less than. Up to fourth place. That's a really bold move on that lap from the 28 of Louis Bevan. He's made the move on Josh Sheriff. Whoa, a bit of a scrap there between the 53 of Owain Rosser and Theo Hesketh. Rosser got through, but they both ran wide in the process and very nearly ended up as cannon fodder for Colin Morris and Ross Deal. Meanwhile, the battle at the top three still going strong. 6 drivers chasing them down. Bevan, Sheriff, Briley, Cole, Pashley and Mitchell Ball. Adam Sparrow now leads his charge, but there's quite a long gap between them. And there's a car slowing down, having gone off the circuit. I think that's Theo Hesketh. Theo Hesketh appears to have fallen away from the fray there in 12th position. So I think Theo Hesketh, sadly, is a race retirement there as he's going to crawl back into the pits. Racing resumes as they come past the Cafe Corner bend, and still no change between the top three, but you do get the sense that there's going to be fireworks in that battle for the lead. So sadly, it looks as though Theo Hesketh and Joe Stockford have had an incident there. I'm not sure where Stockford's come off the track. Oh, Stockford has rejoined. He's just down at the last place running, but unfortunately, it looks to me as though Theo Hesketh, running very slowly indeed, is going to bring it straight into the pits, and that is not where he wanted to be. That's a real shame for Theo Hesketh. Well, the race is coming to a close now with 2 minutes to go plus 1 lap. Joseph Reeve-Smith in front of Chris Whitton and the 3 of Sam Fowler. 28 in there of Bevan, hanging on to 4th from Sheriff, Briley, Cole, Pashley and Mitchell Ball. Then it's Wadley and Sparrow. Lewis Wadley breaking into the top 10. Some great battles all the way through this field at the moment. And a great statistic to see how many female racers we've seen in this field. Some good ones in this battle again, as well as we're looking at the likes of several drivers battling away, although obviously in TKM Extreme the lady racers have already battled in this particular squabble. Warning flag out for Josh Sheriff. I didn't see anything untoward from him. But here is the battle for the lead, and it's still Reeve-Smith in front of Whitton and the 3 of Sam Fowler. They're trying to get away from Bevan, who's now shaking off Josh Sheriff and Ryan Cole. Then it's Briley, Pashley and Mitchell Ball. Wadley, Sparrow, Rosser, Deal, Morris, Monday, Johns, Hogan, Ayres, just Joe Fowler 19th at the moment. From Whitaker, Darton, Reese, Lemon, Marsh, Rushforth, and then Joe Stockford. The leaders still battling on bravely. Is there a change? I think there is, actually. I think that is now Chris Whitton down to 3rd behind Sam Fowler. Fowler's getting back into the mix now, chasing down Joseph Reeve-Smith in the lead of the race. He's trying to make his bid for the victory. I think he might even already have made his bid as they come across the line with 2 to go. Reeve-Smith cutting across. Fowler through to 2nd, as we know, and Whitton still there in 3rd. A great squabble. Up to 4th now has come the 48 of Ryan Cole. He made the move on Louis Bevan down the straight. So now 3 of them, Reeve-Smith, Fowler and Whitton, still battling for the lead, 1.3 seconds ahead of the rest, but this could get very interesting in the last lap and a half. Time ticks down to 0 now. So Reeve-Smith is in front of Fowler and Whitton, but they are battling so much that Ryan Cole and Louis Bevan are in spitting distance now. This could end up as a titanic grudge match on the final lap. Any overtaking move within the top 3, and it's going to make this an absolute duel. And I think it's already getting to that point. Across the line, Sam Fowler's going to try and go the long way round Joseph Reeve-Smith while Whitton defends. Oh my word, that's a brilliant move from Cole. 48, Cole has gone through, Bevan's gone through, and Pashley's gone through. Right down the order goes Chris Whitton. He's displaced down to about, I think that's down to 6th position. Pashley went through in a 5th place. But Joseph Reeve-Smith is now battling with Sam Fowler for the victory. Cole is in 3rd. Bevan is in 4th. Then it's Pashley and Whitton. Looked to me as though Whitton just got too cautious on the brakes, and those behind him just dived up the inside and took advantage. Final couple of corners. Is there enough for Fowler to get through? The checkered flag is out, and I think it's Reeve-Smith. He's done it. Fowler in 2nd. 3rd is Ryan Cole from Bevan, Briley and Whitton. Mitchell Ball in 7th place. Josh Smith is 8th. From Lewis Wadley and Adam Sparrow making his way back to the top 10. That's a sigh of relief for the championship leader. Owain Rosser fights to 11th from Ross Steele and James Pashley, who drops eventually to 13th. Austin Monday fights back again, this time to 14th in front of Samuel Johns. Colin Morris is 16th from John Hogan, Matthew Ayres, Joe Fowler, James Whitaker. And then it's Jack Darton, Alex Reese, Isaac Marsh, Alex Lemon, Lewis Rushforth and Joe Stockford with only one retirement, namely Theo Hesketh. Great racing so far here at Shenington. That is day one of the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championship here at the Shenington Kart Racing Club for 2018. Done and dusted. There's more where that came from if you join us bright and early at 6:35? I meant 9:35 tomorrow morning. 9:25 is what I mean to say. 9:25 tomorrow morning. We will get back into the action for the repechage in Honda Cadet and TKM Extreme. We'll have our drivers parade and then we'll come back into the action for more race action here at Shenington at 10:35 for the first of our finals, being Mini X30, and then 1:35 for the second and televised finals, of course, as they'll be filmed by TDI Media. Great race action, and many thanks to everybody for making this possible. A massive thanks to the Shenington Kart Racing Club and all of the staff and management team and officials of the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. I'm Jake Sanson. Great day one of 16 very fast, no-nonsense, action-packed races here at Super 1. More where that came from. Same time, same place, tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jake Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.